Hey, what's happening, my fellow geeks and geekettes? What's happening, guys? Well, let me that. Okay, that's all good. Sorry, just doing a test. It's been a while since I've done a live stream. Guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. We've got Justin, we got Francisco, we got Alina, we got Chill Scissors, Chill Scissors. Best YouTube channel. Thank you for all you do. Dude, look, thank you. I know things are been a bit different lately and got separate channels, but things are finally like falling into place and I'm finding my groove with the second channel, just doing talking stuff, but just keeping it with build videos and build related stuff like this live stream today on the Cosplay Chris YouTube channel. Guys, welcome, welcome. Lux Media. Who the hell is that guy? I've never heard that guy in my life. Yo, what's up from Colorado, from Brandon? Welcome, so welcome everyone. So yeah, guys, this is just going to be a bit of a Q&A, but we're also going to be checking out some brand new resin printers from Elegoo. We have the Saturn 3 and the Saturn 3 Ultra. So if you guys are following other 3D printers on YouTube, you're probably noticing that Uncle Jesse and Frankly Built are doing the same thing at the moment. That's because this is a massive product launch for these two printers, as well as some filament-based printers. So we're trying to figure out how we could work with Elegoo again and do something fun, but also keep it within what we do. So obviously Uncle Jesse and Frankly Built, their channels are solely based around 3D printing and they do some absolutely brilliant work as well as tutorials. As you know, with me, I dabble in 3D printing. I mostly get my big prints done overseas or through friends and stuff like that. But obviously worked with Elegoo last year when we did that resin printer unboxing and we printed that little Battinson cowl, which was a lot of fun to do. And it forced me to learn the art of resin printing. And believe me, it's one of those things where you don't stop learning. You know, probably even Frankly Built and Uncle Jesse can back that up. Like you just never stop learning, which is a good thing. Guys, welcome, welcome. We got Sean Rush. 3D print is exciting and prints money if done correctly. Dude, yeah, look. And like I've had things in the past where I've had them 3D printed, you take a mold of them and then you can churn out castings. Or some people that make props, instead of making a mold, if they've got their file and their printer dialed in properly, they'll just keep printing their castings essentially, which is fine. Like when you think about it, if you're printing like a prop or like a little bust, like I'd like to get into printing little helmets. I'd like to do little helmets of my Red Hood helmet, a Batfleck cowl, like a Deathstroke helmet, just little desktop display pieces because people like that scale. Like there are some people that obviously love 1:1, such as myself. You got your 1/3 scale, quarter scale, half scale, obviously 1/6 scale, which is tiny. Like if you're going 1/6, you might as well get the full figure, like a Hot Toys figure, right? But yeah, like absolutely. Like if everything's dialed in right, you don't have to make a mold. You can just constantly print the pieces and those are your castings. So as you can see, I'm operating on the Canon 80D, but obviously I'm checking out the chat here and we're going to be checking out these printers as well. So one, unfortunately, is going to be operating because of different power points and I've only got one converter, but obviously the main focus is the Saturn 3 Ultra. So it's printing a test print at the moment. It does come with a little chest rook. So we are 30% in. So the idea is by the end of this stream, the print will be done. We can crack it off the print bed and hopefully it's printed properly. Like the setup for these is pretty easy and very straightforward. If you guys saw the video last year of me unboxing the Elegoo resin printer to do the Battinson cowl, it's the exact same process. Only this thing is a beast of a machine. Like the difference between the Saturn 3 and then the Saturn 3 Ultra, like you got like the nice gunmetal gray. So first and foremost, that's a winner in my books. But the whole thing is a metal frame. So this is a hardened plastic. Like this is a pretty robust plastic, but this here, the full metal frame. And the interesting thing is you can do a wireless transfer. I don't know if you guys can see on the side there, it's a little antenna. So you have Wi-Fi connected to this. So you can send something from your laptop, your PC, desktop, whatever, straight to the printer. I just prefer USB, like just that hard copy going straight in. That's what she said. But yeah, it's got a lot going for it. We've got 4-point leveling. So when it came to leveling the print bed, as opposed to the two, hang on, let me lift this baby up. So when it comes time to leveling the print bed, you've got 2 screws here, but with that one, you got 4. It just means it's going to be more accurate. not to say this isn't, but that's just more thorough. And again, it's the Saturn 3 Ultra, so of course it's going to be a bit more involved and stuff like that. So yeah, hopefully I had to start printing this a little bit early before we went live because it was going to take a couple of hours to do. And usually these printers do come with the test Rook to print out. I am going to try and screen share at some Eric, bad gateway for giveaway link. Okay. All right, man. Let me work on that. Enter link. Okay. Let's have a look. Sorry, guys. I'll scroll back up. Thanks for letting me know that, by the way, Eric. I'll have a look at that. Let me go to my other bad gateway link. I know it's working my end. Yeah, it's working my end, Eric. So Cosplay Chris and Elegoo giveaway. So that's another thing. We're going to be doing a giveaway. So it's working on my end, dude, because I've got a separate tab with the actual live stream, just like as you would watch it on YouTube. But obviously I'm operating through Melon, and that's how I'm talking to you guys. But I always have the actual tab open with how you guys would watch it live, just to make sure everything's working, like sound's working. So the link's working in the video description, dude. Let me know if you still have any problems and we'll try and sort something out, okay? Because, yeah, Elegoo are doing a giveaway. There's going to be 13 winners. One winner's going to get the Saturn 3 Ultra. Another winner's going to get the Saturn 3. And then they've got a Elegoo Resin to give away. So they did send some resin as well. And they finally, because it's back in stock, hooked me up with some space gray. So the cool thing about the space gray is it looks like it's primed, ready to go. And you can see the detail. You can see where you might have to do some work and stuff like that. So, okay, bad gateway for giveaway link. Tuning in from California. Welcome, Tyler, Mr. Movie Buff, fellow Denver, Coloradian. Awesome. I've always wanted to check Denver out. It looks like a beautiful part of the world and the United States. I just went to it. What bad? Kingsman crushed because too many people entered. Don't worry. Okay, so I think that's why, because Uncle Jesse and Frankly Built are live streaming as well at the moment. It's probably because there was a bunch of traffic going in. Just keep me posted on that one, guys, if there are any more problems. Hopefully everyone can get it at some point. But yeah, I clicked the link on the just YouTube page in the video description and it seemed to work fine. Greetings from Colombia, Miguel Angel. Welcome, and you've been here before. Good to see you. So yeah, look, we're going to keep this pretty chill. This thing's obviously going to be printing away. We're doing a Q&A. It's been a while since I've done a Q&A. And as a lot of you know, I started a second channel nearly 2 months ago. So it's been a hot minute. And it's always been in the back of my head. And I think it's one of those things where it's so daunting, the thought of starting a second channel, because when you've had, a few years with the first channel, it's hard work. And the thought of starting from scratch again is just like, oh, I've done this before and I know what the process is like. And it's a long road, but if you're keen, you just do it. So I'm having a lot of fun with the second channel because I get to do the talky stuff. And just, I should have done it a long time ago. I think just keeping the build videos separate to the talky videos just works. Obviously, this is a tiny build video, so to speak. But obviously, because it goes hand in hand with cosplay, 3D printing, and also just doing a Q&A, just catching up with you guys and see what's been going on. There's a lot that's been going on in terms of like entertainment stuff. Like, holy hell, man. But anyway, again, we're just going to keep it chill, do a Q&A, shoot the shit, see what's going on with you guys. Do you have experience with other 8K 10-inch LCD screens? I don't. So this is kind of new territory for me, especially with this beast of a thing. So, because I've got my Cliff Notes here as well in front of me with this thing, because this thing is 12K as well. Like the 12K screen, wireless transfer, faster print speed, so it's just quicker turnaround time. And even when I was leveling the print bed, you can just tell there are just little differences compared to the Saturn 3 where you're like, okay, this thing is a lot more efficient. Look, this thing is still fun. It's still a damn good printer. But I think it's one of those things, if you want quicker turnaround time for parts, for prototyping, stuff like that, for molding, this is definitely your best bet. So yeah, and again, like the wireless transfer thing, I think a lot of people are going to dig that. You got your little antenna on the side to hook into the Wi-Fi. When is the Flash McFarlane Ben Affleck custom collectible video coming? So I've got him right there. I've got him right there just chilling. Now I've got to show you guys this. Hopefully you can still hear me. Look at the head sculpt. It is dead set the strangest bat suit I've ever seen. So a lot of you know I've already seen The Flash, part of a campaign with Warner Brothers. We got to see a cut of the film. And it's an odd bat suit to see on the big screen. I'm not going to give any spoilers away, obviously, but obviously you do see Affleck in this suit at the beginning of the film. It's a strange one. I heard they smashed this suit out in a weekend to fit Ben. The cowl is very strange. The head sculpt on this is very strange. It's like a Giga Chad. So this is going to be the next custom collectible on this channel. So yeah, perfect timing with that question, man. So obviously I did the Transformers Soundwave figure the other day. I just figured with the new Transformers about to come out, that came as perfect timing, and the Flash is coming after Transformers, so he's going to be next. So it's going to be fun. I definitely want to do the blue cowl and a blue cape and try and have it all blend together, because that's how it looks in the film. It's like the cowl blends into the cape and will jazz you up the armor and stuff like that. They do have the bike at my local Zing pop culture store at Westfield. It's $70. Like, it's a lot. It's a beautiful bike. The original idea was to have him on the bike and kind of like doing like a skid and having dirt being all scuffed up or on the road and stuff like that. So I'm still on the drawing board of what to do in terms of a base, if I do want to do a base. So I don't know. Maybe you guys could suggest something in the chat. What do you want to see with this one? But did you guys see the Hot Toys release of that suit? Something's going on with the face sculpt. I have heard murmurs that Affleck's likeness license had expired with Hot Toys and they just didn't renew it. So the head sculpt or the mouth sculpt that you see is something like the Wish version of Affleck, if that makes sense. Because if it's too much like Affleck, then legally they don't have the right to use that. But if you change it a bit, it's like when you copy someone's homework in school and they're like, yeah, you can copy it, just change it a little bit and you'll be fine. Same thing. But again, it's such a strange looking suit compared to what we've had in the past. Like, the best suit ever, in my opinion, with Affleck was the BVS suit. Like, you just cannot improve upon that. Justice League was okay. Tactical suit was pretty cool. I just didn't like the cowl and the goggles. But this one is just odd, very odd. Tyler, I need to get into printing. I bought 2 machines and haven't opened them. Which printers do you have, man? Because like if it's like these ones or similar, setup's easy. I think it's just space. And that's always been a problem for me, is even though, you know, I've got the workshop at mum and dad's, finding space where these guys aren't going to get too dusty and the elements won't affect it. Because obviously you've got the vents at the back, but, you know, you can always do a little makeshift thing to cover the vents up where the fan is, so not much dust gets in the fan. That's if you are in an area where there's a lot of dust. You know, the workshop at mum and dad's can get quite dusty, especially if I'm working on a big project that requires a lot of sanding. Hang on, let me just cruise on down here. J-Man, Fett Cosplay. Tots just made the Rob Zombie Myers mask from both films available for pre-order. Best day of my life. I saw those. I would like to give the Halloween 2 one a crack. How it's all like ripped and deteriorated. I think that would be a lot of fun. I also want to do the Tots Goosebumps, the Haunted Mask. Redo that one, the one that Carly Beth wears in the first Haunted Mask. That looks a lot of fun. And like when I was a kid, I was obsessed with that mask. I wanted that Haunted Mask so bad. And they had ones available, but they were like, they weren't that great looking, whereas these ones are bang on the money, except obviously the paint job. But I think that'd be pretty fun to do. But where those gnarly teeth are, I'd want maybe either blood or drool, like a clear drool kind of coming down, like how it looks on the cover of the Goosebumps book. So that's in the pipeline too. But obviously, next cab off the rank for custom collectibles is indeed the Flash Batfleck one. So still deciding on a base. Might get the bike. It's just one of those things where like it gets pretty costly with that bike being 70 Australian dollars. Let me just cruise back on up here, grab some other questions. Okay, Justin, what type of things can you print on these printers? You can print pretty much anything, dude, providing it's in the space of the print bed. So I had a fiddle with my Red Hood helmet this morning on Chitubox. Chitubox is a program you use to slice these files and get them ready for printing. it can get tricky. And I thought, it's a piece of piss when I unboxed the first printer with the Pattinson cowl. When I printed that, you have to angle them. You have to angle your prints most times out of 10. Otherwise, because if they're hollow, you can get like a vacuum seal with the resin. And when the build plate is slowly pulling it out bit by bit, because it's UV layers, it cures them. It's UV, it cures them in layers bit by bit. So the Rook, I think this Rook has 999 layers. I'm pretty sure it said 999 layers. So each layer is UV cured in the shape, and then once it pulls out, you've got that shape, that print ready to go. But there are some times where if it's solid, as long as you got all your supports there, you're fine. But there are some times, say for example, you're doing a mini helmet on this, like the Red Hood helmet. If it's not angled properly and it's just flat, it can create a vacuum seal with the resin. And when it comes out, there's so much resin pulled inside, it breaks off the print bed and slops back down into the vat. And I've had it before when I was trying to print the Eddie Munson handcuff belt buckle. It's just cured goop in the vat of resin, and it's the worst to clean up. It takes so long, it gets messy, but providing your file is on an angle, and that way as it's coming out, the resin, the excess resin can tip out. And as long as your supports are there, and I always add extra supports, like it just means a little bit of extra sanding, but that's fine. You should be sitting easy. So you can honestly print anything, dude. Like providing you've spliced it properly and you've added enough support. And that's something I still have to learn because each file is different. Like helmets are pretty straightforward. Like if you want to print like a mini Batfleck cowl on this, like you can get a pretty decent sized Batfleck cowl, like just bigger than half scale, and pick up all that beautiful detail. Because that's the great thing about resin. When you're printing in HD, you can get some really good detail. And like with Batfleck's cowl, it's got that leathery texture, and it looks absolutely brilliant when done right. Even in standard definition, when I've had prints done in standard definition, they look great. Then obviously there's cleanup once you snap the supports off. Sometimes they snap off pretty clean, but you can obviously select your thickness of supports. I think the heavier the file, like if it's a solid file, it's not hollow, you're going to need those heavy supports on it, especially if you're doing like a figure. So like you could print something about that big, but if it's solid, A, you're going to go through a lot of resin, and B, you're going to need a lot of support material, which will also require more resin. I've had it before where I've run out of resin and the print's aborted halfway through, and it goes back to the top, and you've got like this deformed like half print sitting at the top there, and it's like, I've run out of resin. Like I can't do anything else. But the cool thing is you can pour more resin in and then hit resume, and it'll go back down, calculate things, and then it'll just keep going, which is pretty cool. Like you don't have to start again. Tyler, I love the second channel. Super cool. And you can like, thank you, man. Look, it's been a very nerve-wracking shift. And obviously like the channel's not monetized yet. I haven't, and it's not about that, but it is fun just to wake up and do the fun film facts. I love doing them. I think you can get quite creative with it because you have an endless supply of content when it comes to film facts. And I'm one of those people where after I see a movie, I'll go to IMDb and smash the trivia. And my mates too, like we all just love exchanging film trivia. And I thought, why don't you put that to use? Quick little bursts of a minute just to get some info to people about, this happened on the set, X, Y, and Z. Look how this makeup was created. So it's endless with what you can do. And I am trying to branch out into more niche films with the fun film facts. But yeah, look, it's been very fun, dude. Yesterday, I got back from the Gold Coast, which is up in Queensland. It's the next state up. So one of my oldest friends, Josh, we met in year 3. Him and I went up to Warner Brothers Movie World, and we did a mini documentary on the screen-used bat suits that are up there as part of the Batman Legacy exhibition. So I had to tee that up with Warner Brothers Movie World, and we had to get permission and access before the park opened. So we had an hour and 15 before the park opened to smash through Keaton's 89 bat suit, Kilmer's sonar suit, Clooney and O'Donnell's ice suits from Batman and Robin, Bale's suit from The Dark Knight, and then Batfleck's suit, and then get B-roll footage. So Joshy's editing that at the moment, and we're so happy with how it turned out. So that's going to be on the second channel hopefully next week, man. And then on, I think it's the 8th. So in 5 days' time, I can put my full review up of The Flash. So obviously I did my quick reaction as part of the WB campaign, but I've done like a 10-minute review of the film, which is spoiler free. So I'm under embargo for that until the 8th. So in 5 days time, I can post that. So hopefully this week it'll be the Flash review and obviously the Batsuit documentary. So yeah, it's been fun, man. And it's great as well. Like I understand people got confused on this channel when I'd post a lot of talky videos and people were like, when's this guy going to do like cosplay or a custom collectible? Why is he always talking? So I think that's why I just had to separate it. But no, it's going good, man. You know, subscribers are coming in with the new channel. So it's all part of the process. And I genuinely love doing it. Like, if I had enough of it, I wouldn't even start the second channel. It's just one of the things where I just want to keep it going. Like, I've come so far, it's time to try something different, but obviously keep the build videos on here. And like I said, the McFarlane Toys Flash Batfleck is the next one that's going to be a custom collectible. So I've just been waiting until it gets closer to the release of the Flash. So, you know, you kind of strike when it's like a hot topic. So obviously the Soundwave Transformers custom collectible was a couple of days ago. Yeah, a couple of days ago, just because Transformers is about to come out next week. The Sedgehogs, hello from the UK. What up, dude? I just built my first Zucko cosplay for Dallas Fan Expo. Your channel gave me confidence to do it, bro. Appreciate you. Oh, dude, that's so awesome. Thank you so much. And have fun at Fan Expo. I've heard that that con goes off. I've always wanted to go there. I always hear good things. And it's funny, the Sedgehogs, hello from the UK. I've heard UK cons go off too, like a lot, like on par with like San Diego Comic-Con. Not like the whole town getting in on it, but just the actual event itself. I've heard in the UK the cons go off, so that's cool, man. All the best to you. That's awesome. J-Man Fett Cosplay, how are you doing? I'm doing well, man. We're just talking shop with some 3D resin printers today. So we've got the Saturn 3 and the Saturn 3 Ultra. This one is printing a test piece at the moment. Like, you get your test piece with each printer. It comes on a USB. But the cool thing is you can do like a wireless transfer with this one, whereas this is always going to be like the hard transfer via the USB. So ideally, right before the stream ends, we're going to go for about 2 hours, 2 hours 15 today. This chest rook should be ready to go, and then I can pop it off the print bed and then show you guys. Hopefully it's printed okay and I've set it up okay. And it's pretty straightforward with setting these up. You've just got to level your build plate, and then you have to do the UV check with the UV screen, and it comes up with Elegoo and the Elegoo website on the LED screen. It says in the instructions, if you see the logo and the website, printer's good to go. So it's just 2 easy steps, and then you're sitting easy. So hopefully the giveaway link is working now, guys. So I think it was just a lot of traffic in there, because right now, not only am I doing a stream on these printers, but also Uncle Jesse and Frankly Built are. So I think it was just a lot of traffic. So yes, Elegoo are doing a giveaway again. One winner is going to get a Saturn 3 Ultra. Another winner is going to get the Saturn 3. A third winner is going to get 3 liters of Elegoo resin. And trust me, this stuff is a commodity, especially in the space gray. Last year, I was using a translucent blue, which looks cool. It looks like an ice sculpture, something that Mr. Freeze would have made. But the space gray, you get to see all the details. So yeah, you get some of this stuff, and it is a commodity, trust me. And then we've got 10 more winners that'll get a Tango half-year premium at $60 per code. So hopefully that link is working, but it is in the video description. All right, let's cruise on down here. Let me just make sure I haven't seen anything. Isn't the Gold Coast where you did the Captain America cosplay for Avengers Infinity War? It was. That was at Gold Coast Supernova. So I was part of the superhero parade there, and then obviously just did some work with Supernova there. That was 2018. It seemed like yesterday, but that was 2018. So that was up at Broad Beach, which is just next to Surfers Paradise. So Warner Brothers Movie World is about 20 minutes from there down the highway. It was such a good weekend. Like, Broad Beach is beautiful up there, and you've got like the beach setting, nice restaurants, bars, and then right next to the main street there is the convention center. So, you know, you can go do the con, and then when you're done, you can cruise on through, get something to eat, drink, and then if your hotel's there, just go up to your hotel. And you've got the beach there as well. So yeah, you got your convention center, all the restaurants, bars, and then beautiful Broad Beach. So it's a good location, man, for that particular venue. J-Man Fett, Keaton Batman is my favorite, but Affleck has a soft spot. No disrespect to our boy, Ben. Yeah, look, Ben's my boy, always been my boy. To me, that is like Batman, like, you know, damaged, broken down. And even though, like, that's the older, grizzled version, Frank Miller, Dark Knight Returns Batman, I just love his aesthetic. I love his take on Bruce Wayne. And like Michael Keaton in The Flash hasn't missed a beat. He was one of the highlights of the film, definitely. And he's just, I don't know what it is. He's in his 70s, but he's still sharp as attack. Hasn't missed a beat as Bruce or Batman, even though physically he's aged. He still looks great in the cowl. And the fact that he's 5'9" like me, I'm just like, yeah, representing the shorter people. Are there links to new products in the description? Stand by. I will get that. The only thing is they were up for pre-order. Copy. Let's see if I can edit this description. Talk amongst yourselves, guys. Okay, so if I go to YouTube Studio, content, live, okay, options, edit title and description. All right, so under the giveaway link, I'm going to pop the link for Elegoo. Now, these two are sold out because they are pre-order, but you can go on a list. So I've just updated it, man. So just check that to make sure that everything's working okay. I think I just saw a super chat come in. Yes. Gary sends in £10. I think you once said you like challenging yourself by making things you've never done before. Have you ever thought of making a lament configuration out of wood or a Necronomicon out of leather material? Thanks for saying that in, Gary. So lament configuration, possibly. I'd go more towards the Book of the Dead, but I would, sorry, let me just double check that. So I would sculpt it in clay. So I would have it as if the book, the front, the spine, the back are all laid out, sculpted in clay, like an oil-based clay. Whether or not I put my own spin on it, I don't know. I then either do a stone mold, old school gypsum plaster stone mold, crack that off, and then I do latex castings. You could do silicone and then do very, very flexible urethane castings, but urethane is very hard to paint. Like you could do washes, but eventually it would rub off over time. Whereas with latex, I think it'd be a lot more forgiving when you can paint it. So like how you do the old school monster masks, pouring it in the plaster mold, building up the layers, and then popping the casting out. That's the way I do it, man. I would definitely do the Book of the Dead, and then obviously have the pages in there and just weather the pages. Probably have the incantations printed, because trying to replicate them, I'd screw it up so bad because I'm left-handed and I have shotgun writing and stuff like that. And the illustrations too that are in there. I do love the Book of the Dead in Evil Dead Rise, where it's got like the fangers as a spine and stuff like that. And the incantations and the illustrations in that are wicked, like really, really cool. And that's the thing. Everyone has their own favorite design, whether it be, the OG films, and then you got the remake, and then Evil Dead Rise. So I'd probably go Necronomicon, man. Book of the Dead, clay sculpt, and then plaster mold, and then a latex casting, and then probably back it up with something that gives it a bit more structure. So it's like almost like a hardback, like a leather hardback thing. Like leather work is a whole different thing. That's where you probably have to wet the leather, put it over like a buck or something like that to get the face, if you are going the route of the face. Whereas the Book of the Dead in Evil Dead Rise, it's more just spiny, veiny, and then it's got the teeth. So yeah, thanks for saying that in, Gary. It's good to see you, man. Like I know it's been a hot minute since a live stream. Let me just cruise on back up. So hopefully those links are working. Let me just cruise on down here. All right, let me go back up here. All right, got Gary's super chat. Thank you, sir. Bernie Uptown. Sorry if I missed this question, but what is it that you're going to be printing? I would like to see more Cosplay Chris 3D printing videos. I have a 3D printer myself and just started dabbling in 3D sculpting. I'm envious of you, sir, because I wish I had the time to learn 3D sculpting. So we're actually printing on the Ultra, the test piece that it comes with. It's a little chess rook. So we are 43%. So again, the idea is by the end of this stream, it's done and we can crack it off and show you guys how it looks. Ideally, I do want to start doing little mini display helmets. And by mini, I mean like max it out as much as I can on the print bed so you can get something decently sized and have like a little desktop display. I'd love to do my Red Hood helmet, a Batfleck cowl, Deathstroke's helmet, like Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke helmets. I love that one. Even have a crack at maybe the Nightmare Deathstroke helmet from Zack Snyder's Justice League. So yeah, that's what we're doing on this one, man. Just the test one because it's all good to go and like all ready to go on the USB that comes with these printers. So the main difference with these two is you can wireless transfer the files from your PC, laptop, Mac, whatever, straight to the printer. So it has an antenna on the side there, which is hooked up to Wi-Fi. J-Man Fett, agreed. Ben and Michael are both awesome. They are. Look, everyone has their own Batman. If you love Clooney, cool. I would love to like have an in-depth discussion about that. I think Clooney was definitely a better Bruce Wayne than he was a Batman because he was just playing George Clooney in a suit. But his Bruce Wayne was exactly like George Clooney. So I guess you could say he was just playing himself. At the time, he was, playboy, bachelor, very well off. So it kind of just goes hand in hand. Joseph Gillespie. Hey, Chris, any updates on life-size Freddy? Just saw Robert Englund got COVID, so hopefully he'll get better soon. Oh, geez, I did not know he got COVID. I did the YouTube short 2 days ago that he was no longer playing Freddy. He finally came out and said, yeah, look, I'm too old. I'm too thick. In terms of the life-size Freddy update, it's pretty much done, man. Like, I just strapped the Part 1 glove to it, and it's now back in the study as part of my backdrop because I do need to get a proper, flexible, posable hand that looks realistic on the palm there where the palm cuts are on the leather. So he's pretty much done. So, I don't know if it might be one of those things where I just do a YouTube short as a final update to be like, there he is, pan up. So I do have two interchangeable right arms. So one, the gloves down, like how he is in Part 1, he kind of is like a gunslinger and his shoulders pop down. And then the other arm it's up like that. And you can kind of pose it out, but it's close to his face, almost like when he says to Tina, "This is God." So that's where we're at. He's pretty much done. Just at the moment, he's missing a right hand just because I need to go back to the drawing board and either A, buy these silicon posable hands you can get off Etsy and put the locking mechanism on, or B, maybe 3D print one. And you can get files where you can separate everything and have fasteners in there so you can move the fingers. So it's posable. So we'll see how we go. But I do need the palm looking skin tone, dirty and realistic for when he's like that. And you can see his actual palm. And it just would look weird if it's like a gray 3D printed piece. All right. Oh, here he is. Beat Drop Bandit, morning legend. Ladies and gentlemen, if you see Beat Drop Bandit, that is Joshy, one of my oldest friends. So him and I were up on the Gold Coast yesterday, and he was helping me film our Batsuit documentary. So Joshy and I met in year 3 in 1997. How old does that make you feel? Secret to Secrets. This is the second live stream I subscribe to that Elegoo is related. Weird. So yeah, at the moment, myself, Uncle Jesse, and Frankly Built are doing these live streams. So, we're partnered with Elegoo. They're like, we got these bad boys coming out. So I didn't actually know that the boys were doing the stream the same time as me. So obviously I worked with Elegoo last year, but obviously I'm like, yeah, it's cool, but I would like to do a Q&A as well. We're not just going to do it all about the printers. And the Elegoo is so chill. And they're like, yeah, that's fine. You do your thing, but obviously, let's print some stuff. So I'm like, all right, let's do this. Originally it was going to be an unboxing and unbox both of these and start printing. But because the test print can take a while, I'm like, well, how about we preset them up and have the Ultra print, because it's all the Ultra's the big new bad boy on the market at the moment. So that's why this one's printing at the moment. So we are 46%. We're nearly halfway. We're getting there. J-Man Fett comes back. Hey, mate, just reached 620 subs on my channel. I started this channel 3 years ago. But Chris, my man, you were the inspiration and spark that ignited my passion. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jay, man. That's awesome. And yeah, keep going, dude. Like you probably saw, I started a second channel nearly 2 months ago, just called Chris Stanley. I think just keeping the build videos, talkie videos. And yeah, look, it's it's a tough slug. You got to keep the momentum going. And that's why I like doing the little YouTube shorts for like fun film facts. Or if something isn't worth like a 5 to 10 minute video of like some entertainment news, a movie review or stuff like that, I'll just do a short. If I can smash out a message in a minute, then yeah, I'll just do it like that and still have graphics, overlays and stuff like that. So yeah, man, like even if you just start doing shorts, like I think it's about finding a niche. That's the best way to go about it. Mikhail Engstrom, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Hey, Chris, love all the videos on your channel. Where is the best place to get in contact with you regarding buying stuff / commission work now that you don't have your Etsy anymore? So yeah, that was a shit day. I'm not going to lie. I no longer have my Etsy store because I got a few cease and desist from Warner Brothers with my Batman related pieces on the store. And they didn't exactly give you a warning. When you get a cease and desist, it's essentially like getting a copyright claim on YouTube. You just leave it. Like the claimant will probably either get data or analytics from the video or take the revenue from that video or both. Usually they'll take the revenue because money. And usually you just leave it. It's not a copyright strike against your channel. You're just like, all right, fine. Just leave it. It's fine. Like, you know, if it's like Marvel or Warner Brothers, you just don't touch it. It's fine. Like it's their IP. It's their intellectual property legally. So you're like, that's fair. And I got a few cease and desist for like a Batfleck belt, a lot of Batfleck stuff. And they usually send out cease and desist to a lot of Etsy pages when a new DC property is about to launch, like where it be a movie. So they did the rounds recently because The Flash is about to come out. And the straw that broke the camel's back, I kid you not, was the Batwing diorama I did with it against the moon, the wall mountable frame. And it's in the study at the moment, just sitting there. And I got a cease and desist for that. And hang on, let me just check that. Cool. And I got a cease and desist for that. I'm like, well, that's weird because like technically I've changed it up enough that it's kind of my own thing. I get it that it's the Batwing, but it's kind of like fair use. And then I thought nothing of it. I just left it. They took the listing down, like whatever. Anyway, Chloe and I hopped on a plane to go to Melbourne to go to the Guardians 3 premiere. And right before I had my phone on the plane, about to switch it to flight mode. And I'm like, I'll just check my emails just before we go, just in case there's anything. Get an email from Etsy. And they're like, yeah, we've terminated your Etsy due to copyright infringement. I'm like, what? There's nothing I can do about it. They didn't give you any warning. They just, yeah. So I've set up a Shopify. Nothing's happening with Shopify. Shopify is tricky. So in terms of getting in touch with me, dude, it's probably through Instagram, just on my Instagram page, or you can just send an email, cosplaychris@gmail.com. So yeah, apologies. It's a bit trickier to get in touch. Look, I have thought about starting a new Etsy with a different email and not doing any Batman related stuff. Like most times I was just doing horror stuff. The horror stuff was fine. Like Freddy and all that, Time Warner didn't care. So Justin M. Wilson, do you still plan on making the Titans Nightwing suit? If I get around to it, man, absolutely. I haven't put a date on anything now. I've learned my lesson in the past where I've done my 2020, 2021 cosplay lineup, because then you put unnecessary pressure on yourself. And sometimes things just don't work out. The next one is Demon Superman, which I did the muscle suit for. And then we're going to have the glowing chest emblem to make it look like glowing molten lava. Okay, let me just double check something. I'm just getting, sorry guys, just double checking this. All right, so I'm going to put a new link in the description. So I've got that in the description, but I'm going to change it again. Edit title and description. Okay. Elegoo new arrivals. Cool. 2023. All right, so I'm going to update it now with another link. So we've got the giveaway link. We're going to have, yep, cool. Edit, paste, save. All right, so we've got the giveaway link and the new arrival links as well. So got the page where you can check out all the new 3D printers. So that is good to go. Right, let's go on back. Yeah, man, so I think it's the best thing if you don't put pressure on yourself and like, I'm going to have this done by this date. And it's sometimes you kind of set yourself up for failure if you're like, I'm doing this is how it's going to do, and then things just don't work out. Like Buzz Lightyear, I don't know if I'm ever going to get around to doing Buzz because I've other things going on now. I'm acting. We're doing the Uncharted short film at the moment. Myself, Daniela, and Sarah of Lux Media. That's going to be. I think it's actually going to turn into a feature. So yeah, we're knee deep in pre-production for Uncharted: The Oxus Redemption. We'll be launching a Kickstarter in a couple of weeks. So it's been nice to branch out and do other things. Don't get me wrong, but also it's just nice to come back, build stuff, flex those creative muscles, and then go back and do something else. So if I get around to it, man, absolutely, yeah. Okay, got Bernie. Daniel Prezuso. Hey, Chris, thanks so much for the inspiration. I just finished dystopian architecture build for uni, and I was inspired by a Transformers build with the flocking and weathering effects. Hell yeah, man, that's awesome. So, okay, so you're doing architecture at uni, and obviously you have to do your modeling at some point for your miniatures and stuff like that. That's incredible, man. Good stuff. That was fun to do. I definitely learn a lot when it comes to scale. Like you said, like you mentioned the flocking. Getting your scale of flocking is a make or break. And if for those who watched the video, you saw I originally had like big bulky bits of flocking there. I'm like, that just does not look right. That doesn't match the scale of Soundwave. Like he's supposed to be big, and we got those little trees, but you got these big, bulky, chunky pieces of grass, and it just doesn't suit at all. So I went back to my local hobby store, and I got that particular flocking. Like you were talking about flocking, but it's the one where it's a static one. So you put it in like this static dispenser and you shake it like that over your model that has glue on it, and the static works. So it drops out of the static thing exactly like that, vertical, straight down, and goes in like shards of grass. But I'm like, I don't really need that. I can just literally like put my PVA glue down and do a salt bay, or in this case, a flock bay, and just do that. And it worked. Like some parts were sticking up, some parts were down, but I kind of dug that. It was like up and down and stuff like that, and it works. So that's awesome, man. And all the best to your degree, man. That's awesome. My brother-in-law is an architect, and I was visiting him when I was visiting Chloe and Mauritius, and he had his miniature there of a building he built years ago. I think it was for uni as well. It was for a project, so it was there in storage. So I want him to send photos. He was in like a big wooden crate. He goes, "Oh man, we got to get the crowbar and jam it open." So I do want him to send photos. But yeah, he does dabble in it still to this day, even though a lot's done on computer. You still have to have like a physical miniature there. It's like when you're filming, you're doing a film and you have a CGI character. You have to have a maquette usually on standby, on set, just for reference, whether it be color reference, lighting, scale, stuff like that. So that's what I love. Practical miniatures will always have a place no matter what. It's like traditional sculpture versus digital. They're both great, and they're always going to have their place. So yeah, thanks for that, man, and all the best to you. That's awesome. Damian Wayne, how would you go about weathering coveralls for Halloween ends? So probably like using the tutorial I used for the Halloween Kills coveralls. For the mold, I would go with getting cotton buds and like dabbing it. You lay your glue down, could be fabric glue, like a contact adhesive, and start dabbing cotton buds down around wherever you want the mold to be. So a lot of it's on like the breast pockets, and you got a lot on the shoulder where the burn was from kills. And then if it's too much, you can like pick away bits of it till you reach that happy medium. And then I think just generally more soiling, especially like I'll pull my sleeve down, like a lot more soiling around the sleeves there, like where like on his left hand where it's all manky and moldy, and it's like the skin's trying to grow back from where he had his fingers blasted off. So I just think the cotton for the mold, and probably blending that in with a bit of green, a bit of gray here and there, so it's not like a stark white, but you still have the illusion of like mold can get like furry and stuff like that, and you've got like little fibers sticking up. I think that'd be the best way to go about it, and probably mute the bloods a bit, because it's been a couple of years between kills and ends. The blood isn't going to be fresh like it was on the same night of Halloween Kills. So that's probably the way to go about it, man. I think just adding more soiling is the best way to go about it. J-Man, how's Demon Superman coming along? Love the chest emblem. Will you be continuing your logo avatar cosplay? Yes. So after Demon Superman, the idea is then to do logo cosplay. Demon Superman is at the point where I'm getting my measurements done for the bodysuit with the textured fabric. And then the trimmings, because it is going to be like, the Man of Steel Cavill look, but black suit, the glowing chest emblem. Don't know whether to do the traditional trimmings here or do like the old school 90s silver belt. I am going to be doing the silver braces like I did with my black suit Superman years ago. And then the big one is the wings. I've never built wings before. I was seeing some awesome tutorials from Lightning Cosplay on Instagram. She does such good work. And she got EVA foam and she had a laser cutting the feathers. I don't have access to a laser cutter at the moment. Like, it could be one of those things where I could find someone that can do the etching and cut out of the stencils. And it just saves time. Like, there's so many feathers in a set of wings. It's huge. But then you obviously have to have like, not real feathers, but real fibrous looking feathers that blend in with the EVA foam feathers. And it just depends how you paint it. So the wings will probably be part of an armature backpack. Like, you have an armature there, slot it on like a backpack, put the suit on, and then the wings will slot in place, man. At this stage, static wings, it would be great to have them come out. But I think baby steps at the moment, because again, bless you, I haven't done wings before. Chloe's in the next room and she just sneezed. Justin Miller, did you hear Kevin Conroy passed away? I did, man. It has been a while since that happened, but yeah, I couldn't believe that. Because it was Kevin and then Jason David Frank pretty close together. And like, I know, as cliche as it sounds, like, what a kick in the childhood, or what a kick in the nostalgia bit. It sucks, man. And he was such a good Batman. It's funny looking at photos of him when he was younger. He looks like Bruce Wayne. Like, he had the chin and everything. But like, no matter what, when he got older, he always just had the voice. Like that voice just packed an absolute punch. So just cruise. Sorry if I'm just playing catch up, guys. Daniel Prezuzzo, where do you see yourself in 10 years in terms of YouTube special effects? What is the main dream you are working towards? Ooh, insightful, deep. So where do I see myself in 10 years? I'd love to be either, working in Hollywood, in front, behind the camera. I'm obviously getting into acting a lot more. We've got our Uncharted short film, The Oxus Redemption, that we're doing pre-production for at the moment. I'm going to be playing Nathan Drake. So at the moment, we're doing a lot of rehearsals. I have to perfect my American accent, and it's scary, man. Like, it is terrifying. But that's why you got to do it. If it scares you, do it. So we're thick into pre-production at the moment. We're going to start filming beginning of July. We're going to be launching a Kickstarter, because a lot of people have reached out and said, how can I support this? And originally we weren't going to do a Kickstarter, but if people are wanting to donate, and it just helps with, stuff on the day, whether it be catering and stuff like that, we're like, well, let's just put it out there. If nothing comes of it, whatever. Like, we have no expectations. So we're going to be launching the Kickstarter hopefully in a couple of weeks, and then start filming beginning of July, aiming to have something ready, whether it be a preview or the full feature / short to go in October. But yeah, we wanted to do this to essentially answer for what was the 2022 Uncharted film with Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg. It's not a terrible film. It's just not exactly an Uncharted film. If it had been called something else, and if Tom Holland hadn't been called Nathan Drake and Mark Wahlberg hadn't been called Sully, I'd be like, yeah, it was fine. That was like a fun action film. But it just wasn't Uncharted to me. And I think that's why we want to go back to the roots of the games and the lore of these characters, because these characters have such rich lore, such good writing, such good arcs, such good personalities, like just each end of the spectrum. So that's what we're trying to capture in this. So, like, to answer your question, man, whether it be Hollywood, in front, behind the camera, just doing my thing. In terms of YouTube, I don't know. Like, I really just haven't put a stamp on anything. Like, if it comes to it, where like, I think also, the days of the custom collectibles being like really popular are definitely over, but I still love doing them. That's why I'll do them. And there's always going to be people like some of you guys in the chat. You're like, when's the next one coming? So there is an interest there. But I think also you have to be aware of when it's maybe time to start trying new things. That's why I started the second channel. We're doing this Uncharted short. So that's pretty much it, man. Look, the plan is there is no plan. And I think that's the best way to go about things sometimes. Not all the time. Sometimes you got to have like a laser focused plan. But sometimes I think sometimes the plan is there is no plan. So I hope that answered your question. Ellie Skellington, what's your opinion on Lara Croft / Tomb Raider? Love her. I played the games, the old school games back in the day when I had a chipped PS1 where we could play the bootleg games. Because like when Dad worked for Qantas, he'd go to like overseas and he'd get like the bootleg PlayStation 1 games. That's where I first discovered Spyro the Dragon. He got the bootleg Spyro, and I loved it. And then he got the Tomb Raider games, loved them. I love the Angelina Jolie Tomb Raider movies. First one's the best. Cradle of Life, it's not bad. But I think she was so good as Lara Croft. I haven't seen the remake that is based on the latest games. I haven't seen that, nor have I played the latest games. But they look great. I think she's a severely underutilized character in terms of live action. Apparently, they're doing another one. But yeah, love Lara Croft. She's like another version of Nathan Drake. So it'd be cool to see them together in a film. That'd be pretty interesting. Gary sends in £5. Is there a way to make it feel like a real book made of skin? Because I don't think you can put leather over a molded face without seam lines. You could do dragon skin silicone. Dragon skin, or silicon in general, like a good platinum silicon that's been tinted correctly as a base to make it look like the Book of the Dead. That's the closest you'll get to anything that's like, squishy like flesh. Like that's definitely the best way to go about it, man. Dragon skin is very expensive, but if you can find a decent platinum silicon, tint it, and you might have a silicon mold and you just got to spray your release or brush in your release agent because it's silicon on silicon. You got to have that barrier. I think that's the best way to go about it, man. Absolutely. Silicon can get expensive. Like there are so many things that I've wanted to cast in silicon, but the price point is like, whoa, like that's going to A, require a lot of silicon, and B, I possibly might stuff it up because I'm not well versed in casting silicon nor painting silicon. I just know how to mold in silicon. So hopefully that makes sense, man. But yeah, thank you for that super chat, dude. That's very, very sweet of you. Ralph Sifra. Hello, Cosplay Chris. Love your customizing videos. Ralph from Manila. Oh, hey, man. So it's funny. I was just talking about how Dad used to work for Qantas. Dad used to go to Manila all the time. That was one of his favorite spots to go to because the people there were so lovely. Because you can bid on trips back in the day. I don't know if you can still do it now, being a flight attendant international. But yeah, Dad always used to bid on Manila and Japan because it was just the best there. People are great in Manila and Japan. So awesome, man. Bernie Uptown. Sorry, Chris, got to chime in here again. Oh, God damn it, Bernie. What are you doing? Just kidding. I really enjoy your tutorial videos on molding and casting cows. There are not many in detailed tutorials out there. Thank you, man. I mean, look, I try to go as detailed as I can. How are we going here? 56%. We're getting there. Cool. Yeah, I try to go in as much detail as I can. There are some parts now and then where it's not that I skip a step or a little detail. It's more or less like it's common sense. Like I might mention it in like the shitty commentary or something like, oh, hey, I also did this. And sometimes you just don't need to see it. You can just picture it and you just be like, okay, cool. Like I don't need to see that. He said that in the shitty commentary. So thanks, man. Yeah, look, they are fun to do. My biggest inspiration for them was Brick in the Yard mold supplies on YouTube. They're one of like the OG molding, casting, special effects tutorial channels. So that's why when I started Cosplay Chris, it was Brick in the Yard, Jeremy Johns, Stuckman, Flick Pick, and a few others. So that's why I, incorporate, the practical side and then like movie reviews. That's funny. One of the first videos when I started Cosplay Chris was a movie review. So that was The Amazing Spider-Man 2. And it wasn't a build video. But thank you, man. They definitely are fun to do. Very fiddly. Like a custom collectible tutorial, like a build video, like it's so much footage. Like the Soundwave custom collectible, I had an hour of raw footage and I cut it back to 10 or so minutes. So yeah, it's it's a lot of extra footage, but I'd rather have extra footage than not enough, because you can't really go back and recreate certain steps because it's done, it's finished. You can't re-glue something, you can't reapply something or re-weather something because it's all done and dusted. So thankfully, I've never really had that happen before, man. J-Man Fett, looking forward to your Uncharted film. Thank you, man. Yeah, look, we're really excited. And that's pretty much where my focus has been at the moment, with pre-production, getting cast wrangled, or costumes, props. I'm doing all the costumes. And the easy thing is it's not easy, so to say, but because it's Uncharted, it's a lot of pre-existing clothes. It's not like specialty armor, like a bat suit or a Superman suit. It is something, Daniello, Sarah, and I would love to do maybe one day, a Batman short. Obviously, we did that little short when I did the Pattinson hybrid suit, but it was like the suit was done. It was just my way of revealing it and having a bit of fun and doing something different. So yeah, it's easy to wrangle these types of costumes because it's civilian clothing. You just sometimes have to have multiples because they go through weathering. I've lost count at how many Henleys I bought for Nate, because it's like Batman's cowl. Nathan Drake's Henley shirt is so iconic. It's like part of his look. It's his trademark. Tyler Adams, it's hard to get in touch on Instagram. You don't follow me, so my messages have okay. You like my Raphael Instagram post with Casey in it. Go give me a follow. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, look, Tyler. Yeah, yes. Sorry, man. I've been meaning to follow you because obviously you're helping us with Uncharted. So yes, and just relax, man. You're doing a good job with what you've been showing Daniello. Trust me, you're doing really good. Uncle Jesse's here. Yes, sir. So Uncle Jesse, I don't know if you're doing a stream at the moment, man. But yeah, it's like I said, Uncle Jesse, Frankly Built, myself are doing some streams today with these new Elegoo printers. So yeah, dude, Jesse is the guy when it comes to 3D printing, and so is Frankly Built, man. Their knowledge on these is great. You think my tutorial videos are good with molding and casting? You should see the boys with their tutorials when it comes to 3D printing, like little hints, tips, tricks, and stuff like that. They're onto it. Daniel Peruzzo Flock Bay, that's the best. Yeah, man, bit of flocking right there. It's flocking good time, man. Mikhail, really sorry your Etsy got taken down. It was a massive overkill on their part, if you ask me. But since it happened, are you still planning on offering printed versions of your Red Hood helmet? Yes, yeah. So that is eventually happening, because if people want wearable helmets, you see Chloe's reflection in the 3D printer. There she is. So if it's a fully wearable helmet, I get them printed by a company called FactFox. And you can get printers like Elegoo do bigger printers, like bigger industrial printers that can do like helmets and stuff like that. Come here. They do helmets and stuff like that. But I get them done in China by a place called FactFox. So you can get like standard definition resin. You can get HD resin, like in terms of the print quality. So I get the Red Hood done by them. I do fully completed helmets and kits. So I've actually got the files here on my desktop at the moment. So it's the main body of the helmet and the back plate. So yeah, I do plan on doing them as well, man. Again, I think I might have a go at restarting Etsy with a different email. And again, just being very cautious about it. I think it also, pop you down, buddy. I think it also goes with how you title your pieces. And I was just like, Ben Affleck, Batman belt. Whereas I think you're supposed to put, man with pointy ears belt. And that's the way to get around it. But it's hard for people to search that and find it. So it's like a double-edged sword. So yes, to answer your question, sorry, I take the long route. I'll try and give you as much as I can. Yeah, the Red Hood files are here, man. I think after the Etsy page got shut down, I was just like a bit like deflated from it. So that's why I've been doing other things. And look, it's worked out well. One door closes, another one opens. But I definitely think Etsy was always reliable, was good. I built up a good clientele base and stuff like that. And I've had a lot of people be like, what happened? And I'm like, this happened. And they're like, dude, that sucks. So I have heard it's happened to a few other people too, man. And like I said, they do the rounds when a new DC film is coming out. There's nothing you can do about it. Like, it's their intellectual property. So from a legal standpoint, I don't have a leg to stand on. I'm just Chris Stanley from Sydney. Like I don't have a license from Warner Brothers or Marvel. To get a license, it's like $1 million minimum, and you have to give them some of that. So yeah, but yeah, thanks, Mikhail. It's very sweet of you, man. Let me cruise on down here. J-Man, I'm back. Welcome back, man. Gary, man, I remember chipping game consoles. Sad that the custom collectible days are over, but just know that they'll be part of my childhood, just like the kids WB and ABC3. I'll be looking back on those memories for a long time. So thank you, Chris. Dude, look, that's very sweet of you. And look, not over per se, but like the popularity of them, like, you know, like how well the videos did, that's definitely over. And like, I think it's healthy to be aware of it because everything has a shelf life. And that's why I'm like, okay, well, let's just try something new. But it's fun to still do them. I still love doing them. Like this Batfleck figure is the next custom collectible. There's always going to be people that genuinely love watching them. And that's why I come back, because I appreciate you guys and the support. Like 2016 and 17 and 18 were like the best for custom collectibles, especially around like the Batman v Superman hype train. That was so much fun with the Jack specific figures and doing the Batfleck figure. Those were fun, man. I go back and watch those videos. I'm like, yeah, that was fun. So, and again, you just got to be aware of it. I think it's healthy if you're aware of it. But I appreciate you just saying, you know, I'll look back on that with fond nostalgia, because I do too. But, you know, I'll still pump them out now and then, man. So, yeah, as with anything, it has a shelf life. Started on an Atari 400. I started on the Sega Saturn. Yep. And then I got, what else did I get? I got the Super Nintendo. Fantastic. Reddit just finished the helmet yesterday. Oh, that's cool. You guys are having a chat in the chat. I like that. That's very cool. Wait, hang on. How far behind am I? Okay, I got Gary. Why is it going up like that? Chat is very funny. We got a chat comment from Chrissy Stanley. Good morning, Cosplay Chris. I'm your biggest fan. Guys, please say hello to my mum. She's in the chat. She's lurking. J-Man Fett. Hello, Mama Stanley. How are you? The turn down in the economy plus endless workness has kind of killed the collector industry. Yeah, things boomed over COVID initially, but a lot of fans got driven off. Yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. Like the collecting scene is a lot different these days. People are a lot more cautious when it comes to buying stuff, and I agree. Like I'm very picky now if I get something. Like at the moment, I'm trying to like, you know, do the horror collection and complete my Freddy glove collection. You know, there's a few other pieces I have my eye on, but I'm like, I can't afford that right now. Like it's definitely one of those things where things aren't what they used to be. But yeah, hang on. Let me just go back up to your comment. Yeah, things boomed over COVID. It's funny, man. Like my Etsy store got a lot of traffic during COVID, especially with I had a few kits, you know, like DIY stuff, which is fair. Like some people housebound, working from home, and they need that outlet. So I did sell a lot of things in that respect where people could like paint stuff or put stuff together. And other pieces as well, especially like the Myers hands, the Michael Myers hand sets. They were crazy, man. They went through the roof. All right, how are we going here? 61%. We're getting there. All right, cool. Just hoping the link is working for everyone. J-Man Fett, I remember the Christmas my cousin bought your Nightmare Batman print and you set her an extra Captain America one. Best Christmas ever. Oh, that's right, man. Yeah, I remember that. I remember you posting about that. Sapphire Elf, hey, hugs, fives, good morning all, good morning. Uncle Jesse, would you recommend the Saturn 3 Ultra over the mighty 8K or the other 10 ice printers? Well, hopefully Jesse's still cruising around. Let me go back down here. Let me just cruise back up. Could be worse. You could be American doing a terrible British accent. Oh, that's true, man. Like Gary, obviously, because you're sending in pounds, like you're in the UK. Like, it's funny. English actors can really do a great American accent. Australians, to do an American accent, we get there, but there are like certain twangs and stuff like that where it is kind of hard because you have to use different muscles in your throat, in your mouth. It's weird. Your tongue sounds so bad. Your tongue does different things when you're talking in an American accent. It can be really hard to do, and it's exhausting. And when you're done, you're like, I just felt like I had like a neck workout because you're using muscles you haven't used before. But mind you, I think one of the best Americans doing a English accent is Elle Fanning from the series on at the moment called The Great, and she stars alongside Nicholas Hoult. So Nicholas Holt's English, and he can do a really good American accent. Elle Fanning, Dakota Fanning's little sister, is American and has an English accent in the show. So good. I didn't realize, A, that was Dakota Fanning's little sister, and B, that she was American doing an English accent. I don't know, Gary, if you've seen that TV series, The Great, but it's really good. Like, it's so filthy, but it's very funny. And she's great in it. Nicholas Holt's great. Nicholas Holt's great in anything. Daniel, this was when I did my Deathstroke cosplay, maybe in 2017 or so. Daniel, I remember meeting you in Melbourne when you were doing your Logan cosplay. I drew some pictures for you. Literally been inspiring my work since day dot. Oh, thank you, Dan. Thank you so much, man. Was that when I was like bloody Logan, like James Mangold Logan? Because I remember that. Yeah, that was at the convention center. That was, what's that? No, it was Oz Comic Con, because Supernova's at the showgrounds, whereas Oz Comic Con is the convention center near the Crown, I'm pretty sure. That was a good weekend, man. That was really fun. All right, let me cruise on back down here. You know who's a great actor, but not great at American accents? James McAvoy. I haven't really watched anything. I'm assuming you're talking about Split, where he's got the multiple personalities. I'll tell you also who doesn't really do a good American accent, Liam Neeson, because is he from Ireland? And yeah, his American accent is just so weird. And it's so weird that, like, when he's making a film and he has to do an American accent, the filmmakers are like, that'll do. I'm like, shouldn't you, like, I don't know, maybe like get like a dialect coach? So Tim Hill checking in from Phoenix, Arizona. Big fan of custom figs you do. Well, welcome, Tim, and greetings from Phoenix, Arizona. So let me show you this one, man. I'll come around. So this is the next custom collectible I'm going to be doing. Hopefully the camera focuses. So this is the Batfleck figure from the Flash. So this is the next cab off the rank for the custom collectibles, man. The head sculpt is so strange. He looks like Giga Chad. So like you could totally print a new head sculpt on these printers, and it wouldn't take long. It's tiny. So I have looked into doing that, getting a proper like Ben Affleck likeness there. But this one, he looks like Giga Chad with that chin. The suit is so weird, and it's so weird to see it on screen. So still dabbling with what I'm going to do with him, whether it's just going to be the figure or we'll do a diorama. I was saying before, I would love to get the bike that accompanies this figure. It's up at my local Westfield for $70, man. Like, it's expensive, man. But with that being said, there's that shot in the film and in the trailer where he grapples off and there's the explosion behind him and he's kind of like that. So it could be cool to recreate that, you know, with some hobby stuffing, with an LED behind it, making it look like the explosion and Batfleck's grappling away, and make it a wall mount. So we'll see how we go with that one. Again, if you can make it like practical at the same time, where you can utilize a light, and it'd look cool, like when it's like nighttime and the lights are dim in your apartment or house or whatnot. You got that wall mountable Batfleck thing, and it looks like an explosion. It looks cool. Gary, yeah, Irish. Yeah, so Neeson is Irish. His American accents are so weird. I'm trying to think what movie it was where he's done an American accent. Did he have one in Darkman? It's been so long since I've seen Darkman. Like, I remember when I was that big and I saw it for the first time and I was horrified, like proper Sam Raimi horror stuff. But yeah, it's an odd one. Tim, looking forward to seeing that one. Thanks, man. Yeah, look, it's a detailed figure. but the suit is so strange, and it's so strange to see it up on the big screen. When you guys see the Flash, you know what I'm talking about, because it's like a floating mouth when he's on the bike. Because it's his stunt double, Rick English, who, as a matter of fact, doubled as Pattinson on the bike for the Batman. They've put Ben's face over Rick's mouth, like Ben's mouth over Rick's mouth, and it looks weird. It like floats a bit. And then there's a shot where Ben, and it's no spoilers, where Ben's standing in that suit and the cowl has to blend into the cape like it's one piece. And it's cool. They did the gray blue look, but just something looks, I'm not going to say, AI generated or that uncanny valley look. Just really weird. So it's my least favorite suit, and I'm sad that this is his last suit as Batman. Like, imagine if they brought the BVS suit back for the Flash. I think that just would have been so good. And just like coming full circle, because Ben says he like really nailed the character in the Flash. He was really happy with his performances like Batman and Bruce. And I agree, he was really good. Like, he's not in it for long, but he was really good. But just this suit is just weird, like really weird. Do you like the new bike? I do like it. Like, it is really cool in the film. As some of you know, I've seen the Flash a few weeks ago as part of the campaign with Warner Bros. And we saw a certain cut of the film, but the bike is really cool in the beginning of the film. Like, it actually serves a purpose. It's got all the gadgets on it, and Batfleck is a badass on it. And when you saw, I don't know if you guys saw those set photos when they were filming that particular scene, it was just really weird because it's a practical bike, but then they go in and fix it in post and make it look proper. Like, it maneuvers well, like the wheels kind of do this, whereas it's like one static thing that the stunt guy's on. But it looks great on the big screen. It sounds good too. It's like a beastly thing, and Batfleck looks good on it. But as soon as he sits up and you see the suit, you're like, ooh. Like, imagine if he was in the BBS suit or the tactical suit from Justice League with like a BBS cowl. It would just look so cool. And I feel like the tactical suit from Justice League would protect him more than that one. That one looks like cosplay. There's nothing wrong with that. But like, when you're dealing with a bigger budget, I don't know, you just expect a bit more detail. So, but like, that's exactly how it looks in the film, minus, a detailed paint job, which is why we're going to do a custom collectible on him. Oh, yeah, of course. Tyler, McAvoy in It Chapter 2. Great performance, but can't hit the accent. Neeson is bad, Darkman. Yeah, of course. It Chapter 2. I haven't seen Chapter 2 since 2019 when it came out. I do, you're right. I do remember his accent bleeding through his American accent, but his performance is great. I think that's what I love about McAvoy. You can always rely on him to deliver a good performance. But yeah, his accent was, Tell you who's the standout in Chapter 2? Bill Hader, man. My God, Bill Hader was so good in that. That scene at the end when they're in the lake and he starts crying. I wanted to cry because, like, Bill Hader's the type of guy, like, he's the funny man. When you see him cry, you're like, this must be bad. It's like Bill Hader's like Adam Sandler, or who else? Like, the Sandman can act when he feels like it. If you've seen Uncut Gems or Hustle, he's great. At the moment, actually, last night, Chloe and I finished watching Fuba with Arnold Schwarzenegger on Netflix. He's so good in that series. He's like an older CIA. He works for the CIA, and his daughter gets involved, and he's so good in it. I'm like, dude, like, I forgot, like, you're like Sandler. You can act when you feel like it. I think also, like, actors get to a certain stage of their life where they've seen so much of life, they get it, and they know how to deliver a really good performance. But yeah, Arnie's great at it, man. If you haven't watched Fuba, check it out. It's fun. I think there's like 6 or 7 episodes. They run for about an hour, but they're good, and it's funny. Like, it's a funny show. Daniel, exactly. I saw you at Oz Comic Con when you did your Logan with Badge. Oh, Badge, yeah. And you ended up showing my drawings of you as Captain Boomerang in one of your videos. Look back on those memories. Yeah, dude. Look, I remember you, man. I remember you. I haven't seen you in ages. I swear I've seen you in Sydney as well. Have I not? I'm pretty sure I have. How are we looking? 66%. We're getting there. Hang on. How much longer have we got? Time used, time remaining, 1 hour and 1 minute. That's cool. So we'll probably run to just over 12, guys. Get to about 12:15, and by then the print should be done. Then we can crack it off, show it to you guys, and call it a day. Again, like, I do want to start doing little mini helmet displays. That'd be fun. It's hard, though. If I do set up a new Etsy page, I'm going to have to be very careful with how I name them and stuff like that. Gary, I had an Irish grandfather, and they struggle with putting some letters together. Like, they can't say any words that put T and H together. That is why I'm so impressed with Colin Farrell's Penguin accent. Colin Farrell, man, that guy is a absolute gem of an actor. Like, I don't know if you've seen that test footage when he first had the penguin makeup applied. I don't know if that was the final look, but I think it was like the initial test. And they had the iPhone footage of him there being like, where are you from? You know, let me send you a little email. And I'm like, dude, like, you just slip into that so easily. You make it look effortless. And then you see the film. I do like his old-timey gangster twang. So instead of saying girl, he says Goyle. Like, where's the Goyle? Like, real old school, like, mafia type thing. I'm like, that's like a nice little touch. But yeah, he's great. Again, he's like Nicholas Hoult. They can always do a good accent. They always do a good performance. And Colin Farrell's kind of had this renaissance lately. It's cool to see him back doing his thing. I'm keen to see the Penguin HBO Max series, how that turns out. That should be pretty good. Okay, let me cruise on up here. So Tyler says, I wanted to bounce some ideas off you in the DMs about things like Demon Superman reveal or the logo cosplay movie, maybe doing some fun one-off superhero VFX for you. Yeah, man, I think it's one of those things. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But obviously, like, the focus is Uncharted at the moment. But yeah, and Tyler goes on to say, Bill Hader is a gem. His acting chops are sharp. Fuba, man, I got to see that. True Lies. It's funny. Arnie does drop a few True Lies lines in Fuba. He drops a few lines from his previous films as like little Easter eggs. And I'm like, I see what you did there, sir. That was very cheeky. Have you heard Christian Bale's real accent? Thick as British. Yeah. A lot of people forget that he's British, or some people will see an interview with him where he has his British accent. They're like, wait, Christian Bale's English? And remember back in the day when he was doing like American Psycho and Batman Begins, he'd use an American accent in interviews. I don't know if that was just to keep the facade up, or some people may not understand, like, oh, Englishman doing an American accent. But yeah, he's like proper English, like kind of bordering on Cockney sometimes. And he was saying it in an interview, his kids' British accents are very posh. And he does an impression of one of his kids. I think he's like, my son was like, oh, hello. Whereas him, he's just like, bloody hell, what are we doing over here? And then he would just snap into an American accent. But yeah, it was weird seeing him do his American accent during American Psycho and Batman Begins in interviews, especially Batman Begins. I remember the special features on Batman Begins on the DVD, and they're talking about making the bat suit. And he's like on the set, but he's like, you know, they mold your whole body. And I'm like, aren't you English? What are you doing, man? Like, they've yelled cut. You can do your normal accent. You can relax. Declan. Hey, dude, did you check out that USB I gave you at HowlCon? I did, man. I have it safe and sound in my drawer. I met Declan at HowlCon last year in Canada, in Halifax, and he gave me a USB with some Star Wars goodies on there. So that's another thing, man. I remember, I think I was flying to Mauritius back in March, and I brought the USB on the plane with my laptop because I wanted to go through them. Because I had a quick look when you gave it to me when I got back to my hotel. And months later, when I was going to Mauritius, had a good look. And Declan like included like lightsaber hilts, armor, helmets, everything. That like you've got like Vader, you got like Luke's lightsaber, you got like Beskar armor, Mandalorian armor. So yeah, man, I really do appreciate that. Those files are really damn cool. So yeah, like I said, the USB is in my drawer on my bedside table. So yeah, definitely cherishing that one. Daniel goes on to say, if you want to watch a really good Colin Farrell movie, The Banshees of Inisherin is a fantastic movie. Really great escapism and such a different thriller movie experience. I have had that on my list for so long because it was during awards season and it got nominated a couple of times. And I think it's on Disney Plus. correct me if I'm wrong, Dan. And I'd always say it. I'm like, one day I'm going to put time aside and watch that. And everyone's just raving about it. So I just haven't got around to watching it, man. But it looks good. Like, it looks really good. And like, it's nice to watch movies like that now and then that break up the monotony of superhero films and like bombastic action films. So yeah, man, that's definitely on the list. And I forget the guy's name who acts opposite him. So there's Colin Farrell and the other bloke who's also a terrific actor. But yeah, I think that's what I want. Just something a bit more simple and just that doesn't require your attention for like 2.5, 3 hours with like a mid-credit scene and a post-credit scene. It's nice. I think that's why it's nice when I go to like movie screenings and it's like a horror movie and it goes for an hour and a half. And I'm like, that was so nice. It was so nice not to sit there for 2.5, 3 hours and just be like, okay, what's going on? What's this superhero doing? What's this origin story? What's the twist? Okay, we've got a mid-credit scene, post-credit scene. Shit, who's Skippy McDippy who comes in at the end and then it cuts to black? So, yeah, it's nice to break it up. Hang on, let me pull this over a bit so I can see your full username. Collect to disconnect. Sup, Christopher? Sup, man? Imbrugs is a great Colin Farrell movie. Lux Media. Daniela says Star Wars film next. I mean, yeah, man. We can call it Star Wars Attack of the Dickies. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, obviously you watch Blaster in the Right Hands. If you guys haven't seen Blaster in the Right Hands, that's a damn good Star Wars fan film. I did the miniature work in that and I played a stormtrooper. So it's really good. One of my good friends, Richard, did that along with his lovely wife, Carol. So it was really cool. It was filmed here in Sydney out near Camden, which is like near the countryside, which is really cool. Sapphire Elf. Method acting, got to say, stay in character during the whole dang shoot or something. Yeah, I think he was going full-blown method, Bale was, especially for Batman Begins, because he was 30 years old. He was like a baby when he did Batman Begins. I didn't realize how young he was when he did American Psycho. He was 26. Like, looking that jacked and shredded when he was 26. Like, it's easy back then. But, like, it's weird. Actors have this aura about them where you think they're older than they actually are. Like, I remember when I found out the year Margot Robbie was born, and I'm a few years older than her, I'm like, I feel like you're like from another, like you've had a different life where you've been older. And same with Bale. When I realized Bale was 26 for American Psycho and 30 for Batman Begins, and the Machinist, he was 28 or 29. Again, I obviously, like, when you lose that amount of weight, it ages you. And that's why he looked like he was in his 40s when he played Trevor Resnick in The Machinist. That was just crazy. And then to bulk back up for Batman Begins was just absurd. And that's why he doesn't do those transformations anymore. He's like, man, my body copped it. Like, it went through the ringer, especially when he packed it on for Dick Cheney in Vice, even though a lot of it was makeup. But, like, he just commits to the role. Sapphire Elf, best fan movie I've actually been impressed with in the last few years is the new Predator Prey movie. Prey was good. Prey was a nice little surprise. I just wish it got a wider release because I went to a screening here and saw it at the cinemas, and then it came out on Disney Plus. But man, it should have had a proper release in the cinemas. Like, the sound design was great. It's one of those things where you have to sit on the big screen, especially with the fight sequences, the action and stuff like that. It was so cool. And it was simple. The story was simple. The setting was simple. The runtime wasn't blown out of proportion. And it kind of just went back to basics like the first Predator, just in the jungle. This time, obviously, we had like a Native American tribe at the center of it all, and it was really cool. The Predator design was very interesting. I'm always going to have a soft spot for the OG Predator with Arnie, but that's just me. Joshy says, In Bruges is the shit. What a film. Hang on. I'm going to IMDb this. In Bruges. Colin Farrell. Okay, so Brendan Gleeson, who's in Banshees of Inisherin, is also in this as well. Guilt-stricken after a job gone wrong, Hitman Ray and his partner await orders from their ruthless boss in Bergs, Belgium. Okay. Hang on. Go to Wikipedia. When was this made? 2008. Oh man, it's old. Ralph, is that Ralph Fiennes? Yeah, Ralph Fiennes is in it. Brendan Gleeson, Ralph Fiennes, Colin Farrell. Yeah, nice. Budget 15 million, box office 34.5. I mean, that's technically breaking even apparently in Hollywood. But you have to check that out. Like I like being recommended films that aren't superhero films. It's just something different, and again, breaks up the monotony of 2.5, 3 hour films. All right, how are we looking? 72%. So another reminder, guys, I do have a giveaway link in the video description. Hopefully it's working all good and well. So yeah, they're giving away 13 prizes. One winner is going to get a Saturn 3 Ultra. Another winner is getting a Saturn 3. You also are in the running to get 3 liters of Elegoo resin. Again, stuff is a bloody commodity, especially to get it in space gray. Space gray is the best one, man. That looks the best. And then there's 10 winners that get the Tango half-year premium. That's like $60 per code. So yeah, giveaway links in there, guys. But yeah, obviously we're just testing out the Ultra today. So this is the Saturn 3, but we've got the Saturn 3 Ultra, and this is like the big kahuna. And Elegoo are pretty pumped about this one. The cool thing is you got your wireless transfer and stuff like that. So we are printing the test rook at the moment. Might just pop that off just to see how it's looking. Yeah, she's looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. So yeah, the idea is by the time I'm about to end the stream, it should be done. And I can pop it off the print bed and show you guys. So again, definitely want to dabble more in 3D printing. It's addictive. It's just finding the time. But then you've got like Uncle Jesse and Frankly Built, whereas that's their bread and butter, and like they've really honed in on it. And it's cool because they do each end of the spectrum when it comes to 3D printing. But I remember watching a lot of Uncle Jesse's tutorials when it came to setting up your files, slicing them and stuff like that. And also dialing in your printer settings. Like these are pretty simple to set up, but if like you're a hardcore printer, you can really go in and fine tune them. And especially your files too, when you prep them as well. Gary, I'm trying to lose weight, but I'm worried about having a lot of loose skin because my belly is big right now. Is there any way to get rid of it with having surgery? Do I have to put muscle on? So I think the biggest thing is slow and steady when it comes to losing the weight, dude. The reason why a lot of people get loose skin is A, because they're quite big to start with, or B, you lose the weight too quick and the elasticity in your skin doesn't catch up. And that's when you get loose skin. And vice versa, like when you're going the other way, it's when you get stretch marks because you're not doing it at a pace where your skin can adjust. And that's when the stretch marks occur. I still have loose skin around here from when I lost weight. And it's one of those things, you know, I'm just, whatever. I'm kind of like, yeah, it's just a little pouch. It's fine. If I'm really trying to lean up, like this is the last area where fat goes and it's so stubborn. And that happens a lot. You got that stubborn fat. So my best advice, dude, is to obviously, like, I'm no trained professional, so I have to say this, consult, you know, like a doctor, dietitian, stuff like that, you know, and they'll assess what your goal is. And then they can obviously put in the work and be like, okay, these are your maintenance calories. These are your macros for the day. This is what you should be eating, how much you should be eating. And then with calculating that, it can be like by, you know, in a month's time, you should have lost X, Y, and Z amount of pounds / kilos. I think if you do it at a steady pace, a controlled pace, it's much healthier. And it's much healthier for your skin too, in terms of it getting its elasticity back when you're losing the weight. So best advice is slow and steady, man. But also keep moving. The body hates to sit still. It does not like sitting still. It's like leaving a car in idle. Cars hate it. The body hates sitting still. So that's my best advice to you, man. When I lost weight when I was in high school, like I was a big kid. I was probably about this tall in year 8, and I weighed 85 kilos at my biggest. So I'm about 76 kilos now. So imagine me like that, smaller and bigger. And I just dove right into it, crashed, died, just wanted to lose the weight. And I ended up losing like 25 kilos, but I lost it too quick. I remember I felt pretty crook for a while, and yeah, had the loose skin as well. So you just got to slow and steady, man. That's the best way to do it. So hopefully that helps, man. Hopefully I answer your question. I got a super chat of $1.99 from Collector Disconnect. I'm 26 and I look like I'm 16. Bale is a beast. I envy that, man. You got good genetics by the sound of it, but thank you for saying that in, man. Yeah, it was mind-blowing when like you're the same age Bale was when he did American Psycho. I remember when I turned 28 and I was I've told Close before, and I was telling Joshy the other day, I'm like, when I turned 28 and I was like, oh shit, I'm the same age Heath was when he played the Joker. And then next year, when I turned 36, I'm going to be the same age Robert Englund was when he first got cast as Freddy in the first Elm Street. So I'm like, I don't know how to feel about that. It's weird. And like, obviously, you know, we're all genetically set up differently. So, you know, some people age like a fine wine. You look at Jared Leto, Paul Rudd, they look great. You see some people and you're like, bless you. You see some people and they're like, ooh, buddy, you've had a rough life. Or that's just how they are. I'm very particular about like, you know, wrinkles on my face. So I just moisturize the shit out of my face, especially like my lines here. But they're smile lines. It just means you smile a lot. There's nothing wrong with that. First, last, I need some inexpensive silicone hands for my Michael Myers statue. Okay, so I forget who it is, man, but if you're on the michaelmyers.net Facebook page, ask that question there. There are people on there I've seen who do silicone hands that are reasonably priced. The only thing is I don't know if they do the shotgun blast hand. They're just two hands that are posable. So yeah, if you're not on the michaelmyers.net Facebook page, sign up and ask that question, man. Pardon me. Collector disconnect. Sweet crusty shirt. Thanks, man. So on the back, it says over dozens served. Gotta love a good Simpson shirt. I don't know if you remember the reference. I have a Lee Carvello's putting challenge shirt. I'll be out and I'll be wearing the shirt. And like some people will get it. They're like, oh, dude, that's sick. Ball is in parking lot. Declan, did you meet Fox when you were here? He cosplays Indiana Jones, Rick Deckard, Han Solo. Sadly, he just lost his house in a wildfire. If it's who I'm thinking of, man, I think I did. He just lost his house in a wildfire. That's awful. Poor bugger. I think I did. Oh, man. Sapphire Elf, natural collagen will help. Yes. So I do have collagen tablets. You can also get collagen protein powder here, which is pretty cool. But yeah, also, let me just open the fridge and show you guys. Chloe and I are doing bone broth at the moment. Yeah, apparently bone broth is incredible. It's like the super duper multivitamin for you. So keep it in the fridge, and it's like got a consistency of like honey. Put a spoonful in, just a mug, boiling water, and you mix it. And it's like a chicken beef soup, like Campbell's stuff. But yeah, it's good for your gut health because like gut health, the gut is the second brain. So if your gut health is on point, it can affect how your mood is. You know, good gut health, good mood. Bad gut health, if it's out of balance, you know, it can affect your mood and stuff like that. So it's good for gut, skin, hair, all that stuff. So do the bone broth, man. I take a multivitamin. I take fish oil for my joints, especially when I'm training, like training heavy as well. It's amazing, though, the info that's coming out in terms of longevity and stuff like that. So we have a sauna in our building. So I'll go down, do like 15 minutes in the sauna, drenched in sweat. I'll run up here and put the shower on ice cold and stand under an ice shower. Because a lot of people do that. You know, they have their ice baths. They do the sauna, ice bath. That's good for anti-aging, longevity, and mood. Like at the time, you're like, this is so cold. But afterwards, you get out, dry yourself off, put your clothes on. You're like, I feel great. It's like people that do like the ice diving, and it's like invigorating. It's really, really good. Collector disconnect. What do you do with your custom collectibles that aren't currently on your display? So sometimes I'll offer them for sale. People buy them. Sometimes they're in storage. Like I've got in storage under our bed there. I've got the Ninja Spawn. And I've also got the Biohazard Batman, the Batwing diorama against the moon I've got in the study there. So there's stuff lying around, man. And like, I would love to find people that would give it a good home. It's just hard sometimes to list it and stuff like that. So some stuff back in the day, I'd be like, hey guys, you know, thanks for watching. This is now available on my Etsy store. And like 5 minutes later, it's sold, which is cool. But yeah, some stuff just lingers around here in storage. Some stuff has just gone in the trash because it's just sitting there. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I have just left stuff or donated stuff to like St. Vinny's and stuff like that. You just put it in a charity box and hopefully someone sees it and they're either like, this is cool, or like, what the hell did they do to this? Hey, Chris, missed your love videos. I was just trying to win one of these printers. All right, Billy. So yeah, the link's in the video description, man. It's the first link. Hopefully that's all working. But yeah, dude, because they are giving away one of the Ultras, the 3, Elegoo Resin, and also Tango Half Year Premium, the $60 code. So yeah, there's 13 winners going, man. So jump in there, enter. Sapphire Elf, 39, and still get ID'd if people don't know me. How good does that make you feel? I got carded last month when I was getting some wine, and it made my day. Other than that, I never get carded. I get so disgruntled. I'm like, don't you just want to check it? But that's good. You're 39. Like, you got the good genetics. Billy H. Live damn spell check. Oh, dude, look, I thank God for autocorrect on these things. Otherwise, I'd have typos left, right, and center. Gabriel Brown. Hey, Chris, what happened to your Hans Moleman bust? Funny you mentioned that, man. When Josh and I were on the Gold Coast yesterday, the night before, we were at a bar with a friend of ours who we were staying with, and they've got like Simpsons murals all over the bar on the walls. And I'm like, I should make a Mole Man bust and like donate it to this pub. So I've got the mold. I sold a few castings, so I've still got the mold. I do want to do a full life size. I'm like Adam Savage. I've got projects left, right, and center. I can't focus on one. So I've got the mold for the head, but I would like to do a full body, like utilizing like, you know, a kid-sized mannequin, bulk it up with foam so it's got the Mole Man structure, then have his little suit and have like a hand with like a daffodil that's like fallen down. Or if I could, like, I'd have to change the face, which is a no-go. I'd love to like a football hitting him in the groin. So yeah, the molds at Mum and Dad's in storage, man, with all other molds. So I can just make another one when I want to. The first one I did was like the accurate yellow version to make it look like the cartoon, but then I did a hyper-realistic flesh one, and it's scary, but I like it. It was fun. So I would do the hyper-realistic Hans Mole Man. So like scale-wise, I feel like, here's my hand. He'd be about up to there. He's a small fella. Tyler, what blows my mind is the ages of the cast of Cheers. They all look tender. Yeah, dude, I've seen that meme. I showed Chloe, and it shows all their ages of how old they were when they filmed season 1. And yeah, man, like they must have just drunk and smoked every day. Ball is in parking lot. Would you like to play again? You have selected no. I'm glad you got that one. Collect to disconnect. Sapphire Elf. I'll eat raw bone marrow if it's around, but I don't go out of my way to buy it that way. Yeah, I think that's why. Like that's why we have the jar, because like how often can you get access to? If we do, it's because like we're at a steakhouse or something like that. So it's just easy to have that. Have it first thing in the morning, so it goes through your system. And I also have. It's like essential greens. It's like a greens powder. So you got like, you know, your spirulina, spinach and all that. How we looking? 79%. Holy shit, we're doing well. Billy H, how long does it take to put one of those printers together? 15 minutes, dude. Tops. So I'll show you with this one. So I think it's more or less the amount of foam that it comes with. So you have a lot of foam. The biggest thing is just making sure your build plate is leveled, and you get a piece of paper similar to this. These are the instructions, similar to this, but longer, and that's your leveling paper. And you take the tank off. Actually, I'll demonstrate for you. It's very user-friendly, man. There are some printers where it does take a hot minute to put together. Okay. So you get your leveling paper, pop it under, and you hit on the axis, and it'll go. And these bolts are loose, so this pivots. It'll come down level, and then you retighten them, and then you're leveled and good to go. And you literally just pop your tank back in. You also have to do a UV test to make sure the UV is working on the screen. And 99.9% of the time, that's always going to work. So you pop your tank back in, bolts are in, pour your resin in. You have with this one. This one's a wireless transfer, but also USB. Pop your USB in on the side, and it'll have whatever file you're printing, and you literally just hit the play button, which is print, and then it'll come down into the vat, do a few maneuvers, and then it'll calculate how long it's going to take to print. In this case, this piece here, the chest rook is taking about 3 hours. That's why I started it before we started the stream, because ideally I want to show you guys how it looks when we're done. By the end of the stream. So yeah, man, it's super straightforward. They're user friendly. Like usually some printers instructions are like that thick, but in this case, like the instructions are super thin. So it's more or less just calibrating the build plate, doing the UV check, pour your resin in, hit print, and you're good to go. And then obviously you've got this piece here, the air filter and purifier, because, you know, it is resin. It is kind of fumey. You can't really smell it, but like, you know, it's one of those things where you need the purifier that just keeps everything contained, and obviously the casing as well. So it's all kind of self-contained, all good to go. Calibrate it, do the UV test, and print. So from unboxing to start printing, 15 minutes tops. That's about it. Pretty easy. Kai, do you still sell the shotgun blaster Michael Myers mannequin hand? I do, but privately, man, because obviously my Etsy page was terminated for various reasons. So still have the molds in the study. I probably will set up a new Etsy store under a new name. The Michael Myers hands were never an issue. It was always the Batman stuff. So yeah, I still offer them, man, but privately, whether it be if you want to just shoot an email to cosplaychris@gmail.com. But the molds are sitting there, man. I don't plan on discontinuing them because people love them. There's always a market for them, which is great. Tyler, if I win a printer or some resin, I'll have to finally get started. Again, man, like I have a lizard brain, so I'm not exactly a logical thinker. And when I did the first unboxing last year with Elegoo to print that Pattinson cowl, I had to do a crash course on 3D printing. I used Chitu Box on my laptop here to prepare files. And I had to just, and because of Uncle Jesse and Frankly Built with their tutorials, that's how I was able to do that video. So I had to self-teach myself. And it's pretty straightforward. It's more or less each file is different and how you prep it, do the supports, slice it and stuff like that, because you do have to put them on an angle because sometimes it can create a suction in the vat and the print will just drop off halfway through and you're just left with a hardened goop in the vat of resin. So this chest rook is very straightforward. It's all pre-sliced, ready to go on the USB, and that's your test to make sure that everything's working smoothly. That's what we're doing today. So yeah, man, it is addictive, especially when there's stuff where you're like, I can use this for practical purposes or display purposes. I can take a mold of this and make castings and like rapid prototyping. Mike Games, been watching you since your Star-Lord Blaster 6 years ago. Enjoyed your videos. Thanks for passing on your knowledge. Dude, 6 years since the Star-Lord Blaster video. I don't know whether to feel happy or sad, but I'm obviously happy that you appreciate the video, man. But that is crazy. Let me have a look. Let me Google that. Cosplay Chris Star-Lord Blaster. 17th of January 2018. Oh. And that's when I did like the carbon fiber wrapping. That was tricky to do. But thank you, man. I appreciate the kind words. It's very cool of you. Christian Perez, have you seen the Batfleck, the Flash Hot Toys figure? What the fuck happened? Why didn't he sign off on his likeness? I don't know what's going on with that, man. I've seen it. And like we've got the McFarlane Toys figure here. The suit, first and foremost, is weird. It's really weird to look at. But the head sculpt, I was like, what is going on? It's like an AI-generated Affleck head sculpt. I have heard a rumor that the likeness license had expired and Hot Toys apparently just didn't bother with renewing it. Whether that's true or not, but that ain't Affleck. It's weird. Some people may comment that it's like a younger Michael Keaton. I looked at it, I'm like, I can kind of see that. And the suit itself, like I said, it's just weird. It's apparently it was built over a weekend before they filmed. And it was originally built for Affleck's stunt double, Rick English, who was on the bike. And then they're like, oh, no, Affleck's actually going to be in the suit. So they had to rework the suit to make it fit Affleck then, because Rick English is smaller than Affleck. Like Affleck's 6'3", like abnormally broad-shouldered. So, yeah, it's strange, man. Whether or not they'll renew the license, if that is true, and go back and redo the head sculpt. But, yeah, it's weird. The bike looks cool, though. But everything else is, I don't know. Yeah, weird. It'd be interesting to see if, like, they come out with anything or a statement and be like, hey, this is what happened. We didn't get the license, so we kind of just had to use Affleck that we have at home, or the Wish version of Affleck. Declan, I have a collectible that is illegal in the US, a John McClane badge made in London that's exactly like the real one, except the precinct number. So because it's a replica badge, it's like a no-no. That would be cool to have in a display, though, dude. If that were me, I would have the badge, a gun, like a prop gun, glass, and blood in like a shadow box, and mount that. Or like have the badge resting on a weathered singlet, a bloody weathered singlet, like, you know, scrunched up, badges resting on it, gun, glass, and blood on like tiles for like the bathroom floor. I think that would make a cool setup. Kenny, which custom collectibles project was your favorite / most fun to do? I'm going to say the Jack Specific Batfleck and the Armored Batfleck one, man. Again, that was when like the custom collectibles were like peak, and like the hype train with BBS was just on point. It was so much fun. And I learned a lot with those particular figures, because those were like the early custom collectible figures. Like obviously the first cab off the rank was the Hulkbuster. Excuse me. First cab off the rank was Hulkbuster. Sorry, guys. Don't know what happened there. Hopefully I'm back. Hang on. Let me just make sure we are good. Let me go here. Hang on. Okay, cool. So I don't know what happened there. Don't know if the cable jigged or not. Yeah, definitely Batfleck, Jack Specific, and the Armored Batfleck, man. That was so much fun to do. And like doing the cape, and then the mouthpiece, and then with the armored one, you had the kryptonite spear, and then he was like up on the ledge. That was so much fun. I think because that was like the early custom collectibles, and I think that was just like peak custom collectibles. So yeah, interesting to see what your favorite one is, man. Like I could probably name a few more, but like the first ones were those two. They were the best. Sapphire Elf. The most important part is leveling the plate and prep your plate properly so things don't stick. Yes, 100%. It's like Teflon. Collector Disconnect. Don't know if you already said, but have you seen Flash or Spider-Verse yet? Just got out from seeing Spider-Verse. Chef's Kiss Transformers is next to me. I have seen The Flash, and I have seen Across the Spider-Verse. I did a quick out of the theater reaction on my second channel for Spider-Verse, and then next week I can put up my review of The Flash because the embargo for me has lifted. So that's the 8th, I think. So in 5 days' time. I loved Across the Spider-Verse. I feel the story in Into the Spider-Verse was a bit more solid than Across. It started to lose me, and you know what I'm talking about, dude. It started to lose me in the third act, and then that hook right at the end got me in. And I'm like, okay, I'm keen for Beyond the Spider-Verse, which is apparently next year, because they've done Across and Beyond back-to-back, which is cool. Because originally Beyond Across the Spider-Verse was called Beyond Across the Spider-Verse Part 1. But, dude, like, that film is Easter egg central. Like, once it's out on digital, like streaming and whatnot, I'm gonna have to go back and see all the Easter eggs with all the spider people. It's crazy. But yeah, it was good, man. That animation is beautiful too. I think that's the biggest draw card with those films is the animation. Like, the animation was so good in Into, and Across was improved upon. So it'll be interesting to see how the animation has been improved upon in Beyond the Spider-Verse, or whether it's the same, because they worked on them back to back. But yeah, Flash was great. I do have things to say about it. I'm going to save that for my spoiler-free review. But yeah, look, it was a solid film, The Flash. Like, it was pretty solid, considering it's got a lot going against it with what's going on with Ezra. But you have to try and separate the artist from the character. So I dug it, man. But yeah, I do have things to talk about. But that'll be next week's video when I can post it when the embargo lifts. But I'm glad you liked Across the Spider-Verse, man. It is decent. Ragamuffin1616. Hey, Chris, been watching you for years and wanted to say you've been a huge inspiration. Anytime I'm having a bad day, the sign off from your videos always cheers me up. Oh, thank you so much, Ragamuffin. That's very, very sweet of you. Yeah, I just, just be happy, be merry, be silly. I know some days it's a little bit harder. Let's not beat around the bush, and I'm all for transparency. Some days, are tough. We have our tough days, and there's nothing wrong with that. As cliche as it is, it's okay to not be okay sometimes. What makes us human? We need those times where we kind of have a bit of a slope, and then we recharge, and then we're good to feel good again, and then do what we're doing and get back to what we're doing. So that's very sweet of you. I really appreciate that, and I hope you're doing well too. It's very awesome. Collect to Disconnect. What do you think of the Boogeyman trailer? Might watch that as well. I have not seen the trailer. I was so out of the loop with this one. It's based on a Stephen King story. I saw 3C Films, and we watched the movie, put up their review. So I don't know if I'll watch their review yet, because I would like to actually see the film. Usually I'm all over horror films, but that one kind of slipped under my radar. But I'm keen to check it out. Like, any new movie that's a horror movie, I'm there. So I watched Renfield 2 weeks ago. That was good. It was stupid, but it was good. Like Nick Cage as Dracula, it was great. Ellis, geez, they are big. That's what she's. Nice. Connor as well. Great content, Chris. Keep it up. Love the videos. Thank you so much, Connor. Love to you, my dude. Thank you very much. Love the trademark Afterworld. That's very cool. MB Dyson 829. Not ready for resin yet, but I'm planning to upgrade to a large format FDM printer. Yeah, that's fair, man. Like, if filament's your jam for the time being, stick to what you know. Like I said, when I did the unboxing last year and the Pattinson cow for the other Elegoo for the Saturn, I had to do a crash course in how to prep these, prep the file, working with resin, because it can be pretty touch and go, especially with how you prep your file. Again, I'm repeating myself, but if you're just joining, man, file prep is key. With slicing and stuff like that, your supports as well. Otherwise, the print will fail, definitely. So actually, with that being said, let's just have a cheeky look how this is looking. She's looking good. She is looking good. Okay. I'm just going to very carefully pop that back down. There you go. But yeah, man, resin will have a place for something, and then filament will always have a place for something. With filament, I am so over using PLA. I hate it. I get PTSD when I use it because of the sanding. ABS, but you got to have your printer dialed in very well when it comes to ABS. And again, it can be like resin, like touch and go. A lot of experimentation, a lot of trial and error. Ellis, I think my first one was the Jack Specific Armored Batman. Yeah, man, that's out of Batfleck and Armored Batfleck, because it was more involved. Like with the regular Batfleck one, he's just standing there. But then with the armored one, I reposed him, did the kryptonite spear, the base on the edge of the building. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. And those Jack Specific figures are just so detailed. They're great. I have wanted to have a crack at the Aquaman one and give him actual hair and a beard. I think that could be a lot of fun. Like, obviously repaint the face, zhazz up the actual skin, but give him actual hair and the beard, and maybe get a bit of yak hair for the beard. I think that could be really fun, and redo the armor, detail that. I think there's something there. Even though, Justice League and Zack Snyder's Justice League is long gone. Well, not long gone, but they came out ages ago. I still think that'd make for a fun video, because people can apply the methods that I use, or not just like an Aquaman figure or anything. They can do it on other stuff. And that's what I hope people take away from the videos. Sapphire Elf. In most of the major brands of figures at the moment, quality is down across the board. I agree. Transformers are the same. New Black Series stuff is junk. See, look, I'm not well versed, like really in the thick of Transformers, like their line of action figures and stuff like that. Like that's a whole nother lore for me. So the Soundwave figure was donated by a fan, which was really cool of them to do. Zwag Zombie, his name is, and I met him in a con a couple of weeks ago. So I think also, like, case in point, the McFarlane toys, like, it's definitely quantity over quality these days. Like, I did my video on the old school movie Maniacs on the second channel. I remember those back in the day. You go into EB Games, or back then Electronics Boutique, and the detail, like the movie Maniacs line. Then McFarlane did the sports line, Halo, Walking Dead. Like those are the higher end McFarlane toys, but you don't really see them that much anymore. And the Spawn toys are not as detailed. Like some of the Spawn toys from McFarlane back in the day bordered on like R-rated gore, and they're selling them as action figures. So I agree. Like quality's down because it's cheaper. They just want to pump out as many as they can and just sell as many as they can. Miles, the man himself. Josh, we have Ben Affleck at home. Okay, loud and clear, cool. Yeah, I think the cable going from my 80D into here, it's getting a bit how you going. So if it is loose in the camera, that's what she said, it'll conk out, but I'm glad it came back. Yep, you were back. Let me just play catch up. Cool. All right, you were back. Back. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know if I refreshed or watch. Cosplay Rick, I remember watching your channel back when you were Horror Effects Productions and always wanting a replica of your gloves. Man, the Horror Effects days, I owe a lot to those days because I started out building Freddy gloves, man. That's where I got my understanding of, building props, scale, templates, weathering. And that's where the whole shoe polish thing came from. I used to weather my Freddy gloves where it'd be the copper, the brass, and the leather with shoe polish. And that's just what worked for me back then. That's what I had available. And because I was young, I'm like, well, what's around the house that I can use? And, I'd raid mum and dad's cupboard and it was shoe polish, brown and black. I'm like, that'll do. Stain the gloves, stain the copper, the brass. It didn't exactly stay on the copper and the brass, but it stayed into the leather. And yeah, just from there, learning molding, casting, sculpting, and then eventually, you get into 3D printing, and 3D printing is just like an absolute game changer. But yeah, it's humble beginnings, man. I like going back and watching those videos now and then with the god awful sound from the inbuilt microphone in the camera, but I love it. Like, and I still like Freddy's always going to be my jam. Like that's why I'm like collecting gloves at the moment. I want to have the full collection of Freddy gloves, and that's kind of like the completionist for me from being a Freddy fan when I was a kid. Like when I first got into Freddy, the goal was to have a glove, and to get a glove back then on the internet was hard. Like you weren't really spoiled for choice as you are now. There are so many good glove builders out there now. But back then it was like a few on the net, and they were so expensive, especially when you do the conversion from USD to AUD. But yeah, they're fun to go back and watch, man. I'm glad you go back and watch them, so that's good. The TF channel. Who would you fan cast for the core Justice League members in the Matt Reeves Batman universe? That's a good question, man. Batman. I would love to see Jensen Ackles as Batman. If they're doing Brave and the Bold and it's an older Batman, Jensen Ackles, he could pull it off. That being said, I would like to see Alan Richardson, who is just in Reacher and Fast X. That guy is huge. Like, he's man-mountain. I'd like to see him as a more comic-accurate Batman, like how he's drawn in the comics. Like, let's face it, he's not naturally that big. He's had a bit of help, but the guy is a tower. And you can imagine him in a bat suit, but as like, I could see him as a Frank Miller type Batman, like similar to Batfleck, that tank look. In terms of Superman, let me see if I can find an article. Superman casting. There was a murmur this morning. So apparently Nicholas Holt's in the running for Lex Luthor, and I can't see who the actor is. I wouldn't say he's an unknown actor. And then apparently Samara Weaving possibly is auditioning for Lois Lane. For Wonder Woman, I don't know. I really don't know. Aquaman, actually, I'd like to see Alan Richardson as Aquaman again, because he did technically play Aquaman when he was younger. But I would like to see him now as bigger Aquaman with the blonde hair. Like, obviously, we've got Momoa's Aquaman, and that's like a different Aquaman. But Alan Richardson with blonde hair, I think he could do like a beast of an Aquaman. Mind you, I would like to see the Aquaman from the 90s with the beard, the long hair, and the hook as the hand. I think that'll be very cool to see. Brave Blade Productions. Is getting to see movies early the best benefit of your job? No, it's not the best benefit, man. It's a happy little bonus that I don't take for granted. Like, it's really cool. But no, it's not the best benefit, man. I think the best benefit of my job is I'm my own boss. Granted, it's very hard because I don't have an assistant. I don't have an editor. I don't have a team. This is all done by me. And that's why yesterday, one of my oldest friends, Joshy, and I were up in Queensland filming the Screen Use Batsuits at Warner Brothers Movie World. Having Joshy filming and Joshy's editing is just such a luxury, which I'm not used to. And it's such a nice little treat. Whereas you have some YouTubers that have a whole team. And granted, yes, because they're pumping out content. Whereas I am a bit of like all over the shop doing a bit of everything. So that's why I'm like, I think that like that's why I don't put up on YouTube, hey, new video every Saturday, because like I could have something else on that isn't related to YouTube. So that's why I'm like, I'll put a video up A, when I want to talk about something, or B, want to build something. That just works for me. So yeah, it's just a nice little luxury, man, that you don't take for granted. You just appreciate it. So next week I got Transformers, and then the actual Flash premiere, and then Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And I'm very cautiously optimistic about Indiana Jones because I'm hearing things, and you guys probably have too, from Cannes, the Cannes Film Festival. Okay, let's cruise on down here. Kenny Klang, the Armored Batfleck custom collectible is really cool. One of my favorites. I think my favorite might be the Jack Specific Commander Cody. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I love the technique you use. Okay, yeah. So like I said, if I had a proper think about it, I could come up with a few more. Commander Cody is one of them, and the Master Chief, Jack Specifics. Commander Cody was fun. I was just very happy that I was able to get from my mate Cam the Palpatine hologram. So I was trying to sculpt one and cast it in translucent blue resin. And when I was sculpting it, I'm like, this looks shit. If I had one of these, I could have totally printed a little Palpatine, mold it, cast it in the translucent resin. Sculpting it from hand, because I'm not much of a physical sculptor these days, it's one of those things you got to keep them flexing the muscle like if you were drawing and stuff like that. Pardon me. So Commander Cody was fun. Master Chief was fun. It's just the Jack Specifics. They're so good, especially that Master Chief figure, actually. That thing, the pose ability with Master Chief was great. Sammy G, are these printers capable of printing a 1-to-1 scale Cosplay Chris? They could, but you'd have to do them in pieces. So could take a while. I'm short. I'm 5'9", so it wouldn't take that long. But you totally could. You could use it as target practice, man. Whatever you want, as a punching bag. Do whatever you want with it. Declan, Stand By Me is the scariest Stephen King movie because everything that happened to those kids as adults basically happened to the actors as adults. I love Stand By Me, dude. I actually need to show Chloe Stand By Me. She hasn't watched it yet. I think what got to me the most is right at the end where they talk about, I'm Sammy G. Okay. So, guys, Sam Garonda, a dear friend of mine, is Sammy G. We've known each other since 2015 or 16. So Sammy's in Uncharted, the Oxus Redemption. He's also doing the poster art. I just got a message from him saying, I'm Sammy G. So, okay. Yeah, can do a 1-to-1 scale cosplay, Chris. It totally can. But in terms of Stand By Me, right at the end, where it's like Chris did get out, he enrolled in the colleges with me, and then one day 2 men got into an argument in a fast food restaurant. Chris was stabbed in the throat and died instantly. And you see River Phoenix just disappear when he's walking down the road. I'm like, oh, like that bit always got to me. I think also it's scary because there's no monsters in it. It happened to real kids. Like, it could definitely happen. And it's obviously based on The Body by Stephen King. But yeah, it's such a damn good movie. It holds up. The kids are great in it. You know, you got Corey Feldman, Jerry O'Connell, Thomas C. Howell, and River Phoenix, Kiefer Sutherland. It's just a great damn film. The rewatchability is great on it. Brave Blade Productions. Any plans to do more Transformers customs for the Rise of the Beast? Love the Soundwave you did. Definitely, man. Like, I'd have to go up to my local Westfield, and they've just got all the Rise of the Beast stuff in it, JB Hi-Fi and Zing. So I have to see what's there, man. Obviously, I'd want to do something that's a bit different to Soundwave. I just don't want to do another diorama where he's overgrown and shut down. I would like to do something a bit different. But that was fun to do. Soundwave was fun to do. Lukey Giordano. I'm a graphic design student and I want to make a new channel logo for you for free. That's very sweet of you. Look, if you want to have a chat, more than happy for you to email me. Just cosplaychris@gmail.com. That's very sweet of you. Like, you know, have a chat and see what we could come up with. That's very cool of you. Ellis, I've had the Boba Fett Jack Specific stored for years, been meaning to work on it. I actually had a fan sent me that Boba Fett, and it's in storage at mum and dad's, and they were like, if you want to do something to it, go for it. So I'm like, oh my God, it's been sitting there for years. I've also got another Vader that was donated by Zwag Zombie, who donated Soundwave for the custom collectible video from a few days ago. So he's like, I know you did a Vader, but here's another one. Do something else. I'm like, oh, we could do like Zombie Vader. I feel like there's something there, just something different. I wasn't aware there was a giveaway. Maybe next time. I mean, give it a crack, man. You got to be in it to win. it. Tyler says Alan Richardson is great. I love Lee Charles, Jack Reacher novels. When they cast him, I was hopeful, and when the show dropped, I was over the moon thrilled. It's perfect. I still need to watch Reacher, but from the trailers, he looks amazing. He's the actual embodiment of Reacher as opposed to Tom Cruise. Like, Richardson is just a beast in that suit. How are we looking? 94%. We're on the home stretch. That's good timing. So when the print's done, I'll take it off the print bed and see how we're looking. Let me cruise on down. Brave Blade Productions. I love that you do the channel pretty much solo. Feels a lot more genuine that way. Respect the hustle. Thank you, dude. Yeah, look, I'm very protective of my content. I've had people reach out and they're like, hey, if you want me to edit, need a hand, I'm like, look, that's very sweet, but I obviously have a very particular way of editing and style, even though I wouldn't call it a style. There's just a feel and a vibe to it. And I feel if someone else edited it, you could definitely tell there's a shift and a change, and it can be a bit jarring and off-putting to some people. So I appreciate that, man. It is a hard hustle, don't get me wrong, but I love it. I love how different each day is. Like, I'll wake up and usually I have a pretty good idea of what I'm doing that day, whether it be like finishing off an order, working on a custom collectible. If some entertainment news is dropped, I'll do a video, or like, fun film facts the night before. I've researched it, typed the script, and I'll just do it in the morning because it takes about half an hour to do. Once I've got the script written out, photos ready, I just film it, and filming it's like 2 minutes because it's a YouTube short, and then edit it and then put it on the overlay, which I do in Canva for the Fun Film Facts logo and whatever the topic is, and then export it, throw it up. Because ideally I was trying to do one every day, but obviously Joshy and I had just gone to the Gold Coast yesterday to do the Batman Legacy content. So some days, you miss out. But I put a short up yesterday on the second channel with a preview of what Joshy and I filmed. So yeah, man, it's definitely fun. It's hard. It's a challenge, but like, that's the thing. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. But yeah, that's why I've never really got someone to edit my stuff. Josh is obviously editing the Batman suit video because we were shooting in 4K, and he has the software for it. I still edit in iMovie. I've been editing in iMovie since day one. And I know Daniello from Lux Media is probably just like, dude, just use DaVinci Resolve. And I've got Resolve on my laptop. But again, you have to put time aside and learn it. It's a lot more involved than iMovie. Daniel says, just use some of that granite effect for my architecture project. That stuff is super weird. Oh, dude, it can be. Especially if the can's been sitting there for a while, it can be really strange. Like not consistent. I think it's peak performance is when you first get the can and you just do your first passes. That's when it's going to be at its best. But a lot of times, like you saw in the Transformers Soundwave video, sprayed it in a cup and dabbed it onto the actual figure. Nalo, AXY, hello, Nalo. Declan, what's your thoughts on Adam Driver as Reed Richards? Rumor is he's been cast. I'm all for it, man. And apparently Margot Robbie's in the running. And there were two more actors. I forget the young man's name who's supposedly in the running for The Thing / Ben Grimm. So yeah, I could definitely see him as Reed Richards, bit of gray in the hair, the longer black hair as well. I think it'd be nice. Margot Robbie as Sue Storm. Maybe. Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of other actresses out there that I'd probably say could do a better Sue Storm. But I'm all for it, man. Like, he's proved himself as an actor. He's versatile, and he's keen for that versatility. Obviously, he's played the bad guy in Star Wars. Be cool to see him play a good guy in a Marvel film for sure. Okay, so Marek asked a good question. So the giveaway ends on the 6th. No, sorry, it ends on the 3rd at 12:30. So that is today. So if you enter, and it gets awarded on the 5th at 7 o'clock. So in a couple of days' time, so in 2 days' time. So the number of winners is 13. The time zone, Australian Eastern Standard Time, guys. So thank you for asking that, Merrick. Very, very good. MB Dyson 829. Love that Spoon Boy story video. That was great. Yeah. Yeah, look. I've like touched on it a couple of times, and with the whole fun film facts thing, I'm like, that would make a good fun film fact. Get it done in a minute. And yeah, look, it's very spotty with how I remembered it back in the day, but I remember going into the casting office and just chatting with people. And obviously didn't get the part, but the young man that got the part was part of my agency that I was with. And I remember going in for an audition for something else. It wasn't the Singapore Airlines commercial I got, for something else. I remember seeing Polaroids of him on the wall when he just shaved his head. I remember he was like that when he just shaved his head. Then obviously he went on and did that. But yeah, when I filmed the Singapore Airlines commercial at Fox Studios, the sound stage we were filming at next door to us, they were filming the first Matrix. So it's kind of cool. Like, you know, just keep it all within the family. And yeah, it was good. And like I said, I got a PS1 and Crash Bandicoot out of it. So I was winning, man. Reese. So Reese says big no for me on her. I'm gathering you're talking about Margot as Sue Storm. So yeah, fair enough, man. Like I said, there's a bunch of other actresses that I could see playing Sue. I think people are just getting in on the Margot Robbie bandwagon because Margot Robbie, which is fair. Like, you know, she's a good actress. I just feel she hasn't been right for certain roles. Like, obviously she's a great Harley. I'm keen to see Lady Gaga as Harley. But yeah, the TF channel, I could see Dacre Montgomery as Johnny Storm. Yes, because Johnny Storm is a smart ass and he's played Billy in Stranger Things, who was a smart ass. I could definitely see that. He's another actor. He's from Perth here in Australia. Perth's over the, like, I'm in Sydney. Perth's the complete opposite side of Australia. He's originally from Perth. And he does a really good American accent. Like, he was solid in Stranger Things, man. He was a dick in Stranger Things. So I think he'd make a good Johnny Storm, man. Such a good point. Yes, so Ariana is the giveaway announcement today. It is. So follow the link. So the giveaway details, it ends today, 12:30, awarded at on the 5th. So I don't know if it's because of the time change. It might still be going. So if you double check that link, hopefully it's all good. Miles, can't wait for the Uncharted project you're working on, man. Big things happening. Thank you, man. Yeah, so update is Next week, we're starting the turnaround photos to get a poster ready because we're going to do a Kickstarter, and we want that teaser trailer and the poster as part of the Kickstarter to be like, hey, this is what our intention is. This is what ideally the final product would look like. And we weren't going to do a Kickstarter initially, but people have asked and they said, can I help? Can I support? I'm like, sweet, let's give it a go. If we don't make anything, well, whatever, at least we tried. Like, it's still going to go ahead anyway. But, if we've got a bit of pocket money from people donating, then hell yeah, that just helps with the production. So ideally, we're going to be filming beginning of July, and it's bordering on a feature with the runtime. We might be bleeding into the 1 hour mark. But again, we just want to do something that is not like the 2022 film. We want to pay respect to the games because the games are so rich with the writing, the characterization, the lore of the characters, the storytelling, and just have that sense of adventure, like the old adventure serials. So that's the aim, man. It's a lot of hard work, but it's been fun and it's been interesting, gathering your cast, because I'm obviously playing Nathan Drake. We have Sully, we have Sam. Chloe is playing Elena Drake. So, Chloe's got to brush up an American accent. We all have to. So we're all diving in head first, and we're just hopefully going to deliver something that people are going to dig and just pays respects to the game. So there are tip of the hats nods to the previous games in this short. So yeah, man, I'm excited, but I'm also quietly shitting myself. But that's why you got to do it. Miles, let me know if you need any assist. Oh shit, where'd you go? On promoting, I'll throw some up on TikTok. If anything, will bring some exposure. Thank you, man. That'd be great. So yeah, like when the Kickstarter launches, we'll be doing that all over our socials and stuff like that, and just keep working it and putting like Daniela's been working on some beautiful digital assets to put up on socials just to keep the people's interest percolating, to be like, hey, this is still happening. This is still happening. So that's pretty much it. But yeah, thanks, man. Thank you, Miles, for the lovely words. It's great of you, man. The TF channel, and maybe Blake Lively as Sue Storm. I don't know about that one. Just an idea. Dude, that's not a bad suggestion at all. I could definitely see her as a Sue Storm in the costume in a wig. 100%. Absolutely. Dash. Golem cosplay. That's it. That's all you get of Golem. Gary sends in another £5. Thank you, Gary. I would love to see some cosplay Stan Lee's Batman or make a movie of him. Hang on, let me double check. Let me just double check. It's who I'm thinking of. Yeah. That would make for a damn good horror movie, in my opinion, man. Hang on. Oh, wait, Miles. Oh, that's Justin. Yeah, dude. Sorry, man. Yeah, that's one of my dear friends, Justin Stoddard. Okay. Thank you, man. Thank you for clarifying that. That's the same with Sammy G. That would be a horror movie if they did that, man. I'd be all for it. Dash. So no loincloth. Look, if you want to get the bejesus scared out of you, sure, I'll do the loincloth and everything, but I'll have to probably throw that on my my OnlyFans, even though I don't have it OnlyFans. Oh yeah, so okay, speaking of Golem, what's the deal with this Golem game? I haven't really looked into it, but apparently it's god awful. Ellis just said already better than the Golem game that just got released. So what's the deal with that? Apparently it's like awful. Yeah, I haven't really looked into it. Sammy, we're gonna kill it with Uncharted, dude. We fucking will, man. Damn right. How are we looking? 99%. We're nearly there. The TF channel, or just give John Krasinski another chance at Reed and cast his in real life. Why? Yeah, exactly. I know. And he was so good in Doctor Strange as Reed Richards. He looked the part, even with the beard. And I just assumed, okay, well, he's going to be. Oh, Prince Dunn. Hell yeah, Prince Dunn. All right. But yeah, I just figured that was it. He's got the gig as Reed Richards, but no, that wasn't the case. So the print is done, guys, and it just shuts itself off. Printing time. 3 hours and 16 minutes and 22 seconds. So I'm going to glove up, show you guys the print, and then we're going to call it a day. So again, guys, hopefully most of you got to enter the competition, but I'll just answer a few more questions. I'll leave that on for now. Yeah, I was hoping John would return. So Ellis also says the graphics are dreadful and they released an unfinished game, really. Hang on, let me Google that. Golem. No, that's not the name of it. He looks awful. That's like Golem we have at home. That looks really strange, man. Yeah, I don't like that. Joshy says, oh man, the new Golem game is a strong contender for worst game of the year. It's rough. Fuck. Okay. So it's obviously like buggy as shit. Yeah, right. I think I just saw Toronto Freddy's here. Hey, buddy. Mike Game, since the winners are showing in the link, how do we know who won what? Let me double check, man. Let me double check. I'll check for you, man. I will check in the link. Okay, first link. I think so. So that there are 13 winners now. I think you will get notified via email because they've obviously blurred out the emails, like they've X'd out the full email addresses. So you should get notified. Check your spam. Check your spam as well. That's my best suggestion to you as well, because sometimes it'll slip into spam. Don't know if anyone asked this, but has there been any progress on your channel logo cosplay or the Lightyear cosplay you announced like last year? So next up is Demon Superman, and then after that is the channel logo cosplay. In terms of Lightyear, dude, I honestly don't think that's going to happen. If it does, it'll be a long time away because I'm doing other things now, not just cosplay, which I'm really enjoying. Just breaking up, not the monotony, but, you know, just doing something different. So the idea is just to do Demon Superman and the logo cosplay this year, and that's it. If anything else happens, it's just like a nice little bonus. So the suit pattern for the logo cosplay is done. I just need to get that printed on Lycra, have it sewn. Got the chest emblem. I just need to do the cape, and I got the muscle suit, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, so what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to pop this off the build plate, and then we're going to call it a day. So I'm going to glove up. Just talk amongst yourselves. So yeah, gloving up is essential because you don't want this resin getting on your skin at all. So just lay down a mini little drop cloth here, move that out of the way. Okay. Yep, she looks good to me. So just unscrew the build plate. Okay. Just let the excess drip off. So you see it there, it's like a little chest rook. So what I'm going to do is just let that sit there. Now I'll pop this back on. Okay, cool. I'm actually, Toronto Freddy, I'm actually thinking of grabbing the Myers Halloween one. Oh, yeah, okay, so Mezco. The Mezco? Okay, all right, so I'm going to grab myself some isopropyl alcohol, and where's the scraper? All right. So I've got our scraper too. Just going to give it a spray with some isopropyl alcohol. And just carefully go around the perimeter. You kind of do have to break, I wouldn't say it's a seal, but it's on that build plate pretty well. And also just give it a soak in ISO as well. It just helps with the excess resin that's on it. So I'll just quickly show you guys. There we go. It has Elegoo on it, Saturn 3. So I'll just crack that off. Cool. All right. Just give it another spray down. There we go. This thing, you see that, is clean as a whistle. There is no, like, next to no prep required for this. If you want to mold it or paint it, it's good to go. Obviously, you've got to give it a wash in isopropyl alcohol, like an actual alcohol bath. Checky, as you can see, I've got like excess resin wiping off of it. Yeah, it is beautiful, man. And the gray resin, that's the way to go. I was using blue transparent resin, but the gray is the definitely the way to go. We did it. We actually did it. That's why I had to start this print early, because it was going to take a bit longer. And the idea was to have it done by the end of the stream. So yeah, this is perfect. User-friendly too. So I'm keen to try the Red Hood helmet with this one. So I'm going to do a mini version of my Red Hood helmet. So yeah, guys, I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to wrap it up. Congrats to everyone that won themselves either a 3D printer, some resin, and also that membership. So guys, I know it's been a while since my last live stream, but thank you so much. Casually sprays computer. Hey man, I've got to clean this computer. It's dusty as, just like me. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for hanging out today. Again, we're just keeping it pretty casual. Obviously, we're talking 3D printers, but also just what else has been going on in the world with entertainment stuff. So this coming week, I'm going to have the Batsuit video up from what Josh and I did yesterday at Warner Brothers Movie World. We're going to be hanging out with screen-used Batsuits. We've got Keaton, Kilmer, Clooney, O'Donnell. We've got Bale and Batfleck. And also my review for The Flash is going to be up this coming week too on the 8th. So in 5 days' time when the embargo lifts for me. So yeah. Guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for being just so sweet in the chat and just being awesome. Again, links are in the description because obviously YouTube's going to save this afterwards. If you want to go check out Elegoo, these are the brand new printers. We obviously have the Saturn 3 and the Saturn 3 Ultra. This thing is a beast. So I'm actually going to set up to do the Red Hood helmet now and see how that goes. So it's going to be a bit of fiddling, but I'm keen to see how that one works out. So guys, wherever you are in the world, please have yourselves an absolute cracker of a day. Hope you're well. Hope you're happy. Be merry. Be silly. Until next time, geeks and geekettes, please always remember, cosplayers do it best. But seriously, guys, take care. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll catch you.